Hello. Right, bear with me. I don't know why, and I'm sure this might be making someone feel a little bit just look away from the screen for a second, because I can't figure out how this bastard thing goes back on again. How many live streams have I done? God. Oh, pull off a live stream pretty much on time, and then I get caught out on a technicality. You know, what the fuck? Is it meant to go that way around? Maybe. Oh my God! I'm so sorry. Bear with me. And it won't balance. It won't just balance either. You know. Ugh. Hang in there. Hang in there. I mean, seriously, what the fuck? Right. Whew, that was challenging. Oh my God. Right, let's get some. Let me just get some candles on the go. Bit wonky. Yeah, I do apologise. Good thing. Right, do you like me Christmas? It's a bit crude, I'm afraid. You know, if you've got any kids watching, avert their eyes. Although they probably won't get it. Right, back in a sec. We're just going to aim for like an hour and a half, 2 hours tops, because I am a little bit knackered, and we'll see how we go. How are we looking? Yeah, that's better. That's better. You know, that's a lot better. There we go. Right. Sorry, darling. Merry Christmas. You know, I'm sure that some of you will have spent Christmas on your Todd today. That's just life. I've put some posts in the post section to kind of let you know that there are certain elements of the way you are and the way the reason some of us spend Christmas on our own. Our friendship circles have shrunk, our family circles shrunk, all because of the last 5 years and the division that's caused. But you're still holding your own, and you're still standing in your own truth, you know, your own authenticity. So that you should be proud of that. Things like that do come at a price sometimes, as I found out, you know, we've all found out, but it's honourable. Just know that. Hello there, Michael. I've just realised I didn't mean to put an Irish accent. It sounded right to say hello there, Michael, and I've just at the same time realised that I look like an actual fucking pikey. Michael, do you like dags? Dags. Hello, Lana. You're right, sweetheart. How you ding dang diddling? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Much appreciated. Right, let me just get a fag. Let me just get a fag. Oh, he's gone. He's gone. He's gone. So I'll have a cigarette instead. I was going to start off by saying that I'm just a little bit tired, you know, because I am a bit tired. That's the truth. You know, I got up to the crack of dawn, but as soon as she fucked off, I went back to bed. Oh dear, ding dong. Ding dang diddling dang ding. Don't fuck me up like that, Lana. You fucked me up on a live stream. That's confused me. There's too many ding dangs and dongs. You know, I didn't even use that many ding dang dong dongs. You know, the fuck. Huh. You're keeping me toes, lass. I brought a selection. It is Christmas, you know. I ate a cherry trifle out of a plastic fucking pot today, just with a spoon. It's like, you know, like a bloke version of Bridget Jones, where she does the all by myself, that bit in the film. A bit like that. And just like there, because I was invited, you know. I did have somewhere to go today, but I didn't go. For several reasons, and one of them is Zephyr. She's not quite right. So, and when she's not quite right, she's quite tetchy. When she's not feeling tip top, she gets a bit raggy, you know. Fucking female. What'd you expect? Goes for the territory. So I didn't feel comfortable about leaving them on their own. I think they would have been fun, but I just don't want to take any risks, you know. Because if she kicks off and Storm fights back, it could be horrendous, you know. So so I've been on my Todd today. I did have a choice. I think I made the right choice. If you look at those posts in the post section, I'll give you a rough idea, just a little bit of an idea, you know, because when I do, again, that was a genuine reason for not going. But when you're like us, one of the problems that we have is that we end up generally in a room, one fucking room mainly. You get people, stragglers, that go off for a fag or go for a top up, or just go and like dig into the buffet a little bit and come back again. So, you know, people disappear and come back, but it's generally everyone's in one room, right? And generally speaking, they're all not quite plugged in. Well, very plugged in. In fact, yeah, I'll change the way I put that. They're not unplugged. So someone that is unplugged going into a room full of people that's plugged in, you're not like a fish out of water, but you can end up making everyone feel like a fish out of water by spouting the truth. And it's a really, really tricky situation, because there's part of you that's thinking, when else am I going to get all of these people that I do care about in one room and say, look, did you know that this shit's happening? You know, when else do you get an opportunity like that? So it's probably, you know, after 5-6 years of this shit, it's gotten to the point now where I'm thinking, you know, if you think I've offended you, you know, I didn't mean to, but I told you the truth. And if the truth is a bit too much for your noggin to take in, then that's on you, not me. And I'd only be telling them that these things. I try and be more strategic, you know, than normal. I try and sort of like, you know, like a wolf, or you know, or something. That's probably not a good analogy. When you kind of narrow, you sort of narrow, pin them down. You kind of separate them. from the rest of the pack, you know, and then pin them down, corner them in the kitchen. I just didn't want that to happen, you know, and it was quite likely that it would have, you know. Anyway, hold the line. Absolutely, Michael. The girls are your immediate family. Yes, they are, Lala. Yes, they are. My main priority. They come first. Same with me and Floyd. Absolutely. Yeah. They'll always come first. Always. So, yeah. So anyway, I've got a little selection going on here, so I'll be sipping between the two. It's Christmas. It's a time for overindulging. I don't think it was intended that way initially, but it's been made that way. So fuck it, you know. If you can't join them, beat them. Yeah, I'll go with that. If you can't join them, beat them. They're not going to mix well in my belly, you know. So far, touch wood, I've never projectile vomited onto the webcam before in a year of doing live streams. So and I love firsts. So, you know, give it half an hour. And we'll have a little, you know, Rose Hippie Guy and Tribe viral video, you know. Who else is with us? You know, there's 5 people. Say hello, you know, say hello. It's okay. Don't worry, we don't buy it. Unless you pay us, you know. It's all about the wonga. I'll do anything for money. I'll bite you. I'll fucking eat you. If you pay me enough. I wouldn't. I watched a video earlier on, and it's all factual, and it was about McDonald's, and I was just thinking, if I was starving, and I know me, no one knows you better than you. Nobody. You know, your deepest, you know, desires, your darkest thoughts, you know, anything like that. Not that I'm like that. I'm not some sort of like closet fucking psycho weirdo. You know, I'm not really. But we've all got, you know, things that we don't share. You know, nothing sinister or depraved or anything. I'm not like that. I'm a very traditional man, very old fashioned. So they were telling the truth about this, and I was thinking to myself, I know for a fact that even if I was starving, I would find another way. If someone turned around and said, look, you're all skin and ribs, Terry, let's go down Maccadees, I'll buy you a McDonald's, whatever you want. No, fuck off. So, you know, again, there's a price to pay for being a principled man and a principled woman. A price to pay. There's a price to pay for that, because you can't. There's no deviating away from those principles. There's no, because if you did, they're not principles. They're just ideas. That's all. And ideas come and go. They don't really mean anything. A 10 a penny. Principles are solid. And it's all part of the manners maketh the man, you know. And I really, really do believe that. I agree. I totally agree with that. I think good men have got good principles and good morals and good manners. I don't really know where I got all my manners from. I think it was a natural thing, because I don't think I was taught manners by my mum. Well, maybe some, you know. But I think the rest was just, I think you are the way you are to some degree. life and the path of life kind of molds you. The people that come into your life and then go out of your life, the people that come into your life and stay in your life, they all kind of nudge you and mold you a little bit. But I think generally speaking, people like you stay the path. You kind of nudged a bit and nudged a bit, but you generally stay the course as far as your personality is concerned, you know? When I saw my dad yesterday, again, I was telling him stuff that he never even knew, my dad. So when I was about 14-ish, 14 and a half, they brought a psychologist in for me. And I did an IQ test, and they asked me loads of questions and stuff. I didn't really know what it was all about, to be honest with you. I've got a rough idea. I think it was the truancy and the rebellious kind of nature of me at school. And I think we all know now why we were rebellious at school. Is because we were meant to be rebellious at school, because we knew what it was all about. We might not have understood it at the time, but I do think that subconsciously we knew what it was all about, that it was just an indoctrination camp. And we were just, instead of like sinking under the surface of the water of indoctrination, we were just constantly treading water, which came across as rebellious. And then the heavy truancy, level of truancy, you know. And then I ended up being sent to a special school once a week, every Wednesday, for about 6 months. I loved it there. I look forward to it. I never ever didn't go there. I always attended, because there I was asked, Terry, would you mind? Terry, do you mind if you? Terry, can you? Are you all right if you know? Instead of Terry, do this, Terry, do that, Terry, do this. Fuck off. It takes the same amount of effort. I do understand that there are a lot of kids out there that do need discipline, right? I agree with that. I do agree with that, right? But try asking them first. Ask them instead of telling them. Ask them. And you might get some better results. And I was asked there. Because there was no pressure and no intensity, I flourished. You know, I started to hone my art skills and my English skills and all sorts of stuff. It was good. I liked it. But yeah, you know, that was one of the reasons why I ended up becoming a bit of a target at my main school with these bullies. That was around 14 when I just lost my shit on a bully that had been bullying me for God knows how long. It intensified because I was going to a special school once a week. So, you know, so going to that school helped me because it intensified the bullying, which then made me snap. No more bullying. So it's funny how things work out. Hey up, David. How you doing, me old chainer? That sounded fucking terrible. David, let me just play this for you. I think Lana sent me this. Not that. I think Lana sent me this, and it was fucking hilarious. Hilarious. I don't even think I don't think I shared it on YouTube. But it was funny. It was funny. It cracked me up. Where are we?
Which would
My only concern is I don't think that's AI. So, you know, they've casted a little girl, you know, what, 5 years old, something like that, and said, right, do you know what? You ever said the word cunt before? No. Well, you're gonna. Your parents are all right with that, and they're right. Aye, that's fine. But from Glasgow. She says it all the time. In fact, I'd never heard the word until she said it. It was her first word. You know, everyone else was mama, mama, mama. Hers was cunt. Merry Christmas, David. And Lang. Oh, here we go. Fucking hell. Lang me Lomreek. We just get the translator in there. No, even the translator doesn't know what the fuck you're saying there, David. But thank you to whatever that is. Much appreciated. I love you too. Lang me. See, Lana knows what you're talking about because she understands Scottish. She speaks Scottish. She's bilingual as well, you know. So you two just chat amongst yourselves, right? And we'll crack on, you know. Because I've got no fucking idea what you're saying, Mio China, and I do apologise, but I am learning more because I talk to Lana from time to time, you know, and I'm picking it up. But sometimes I say, Lana, can you just say that again? Just but very slowly, syllable by syllable, nice and slow, nice and loud, so it goes in. Because I feel ignorant otherwise. I'm not one of these blokes that's going to turn around and go, oh yeah, I know. You know, when I have no idea what they've just said. I'm not one of them. I like to understand what people are saying, because otherwise you're not engaging with them properly, you know. And that's rude. It's rude to pretend. I don't like pretentious people. And yeah, another avoidance thing. Season's greetings. You know, Herbert the pervert from Family Guy. Again, you know, think about that. You know, it was a cartoon, and they intentionally put a nonce in there to make it not to normalize it. But I was a big Family Guy fan. I loved it. You know, I've got Family Guy pajamas. I've got some really, really nice fleecy pajamas as well. Thank you to one of you beautiful lot. Don't want to mention a name unless she's cool about it. So there was one episode. It was a Christmas episode of Family Guy, and Herbert the pervert was in there with his decrepit dog. You know, with his back legs gone. So his dog used to just pull itself along with his front legs. Foot. You see, I would have made some sort of little machine with wheels on the back, so it could just, you know, you've seen them before. I would have done something like that. And but yeah, he used to say, "Season's greetings." Yeah, have a listen to Family Guy. Sounds just like that. It's the only impression I can do well. That's it. I can't do Scottish. Season's greetings. Swearing is part of the vocabulary there. Lol. Yeah, see, what I don't know why I had to do a posh bloke's voice then, you know, to compensate for the lack of understanding you. You know? So that's me firing back at you with proper Queen's English, even though I hated her. and her family. In fact, that's the thing. I don't know if any of you still watch that shit, right? Was there a King's speech today? Because that would have been the first. Would that have been the first? Or the second? Because there used to be a Queen's speech, right? Merry Christmas, plebs and serps. Hope you're doing okay. I know that times are hard. I know that you're struggling. Don't worry, because I'm fucking not. Thank you for all of your money and for all of the palaces that you maintain. Now fuck off. So I don't know if the king did a speech or not. I think there'd be a lot fewer people watching it now than ever. There'll be a record low level of people paying anything to paying any attention whatsoever, because even the divvy twats out there that don't know fuck from fuck, you know, they'll still be thinking, you're not freezing to death, are you? You know, you're not sat there with all your electric off and your heating off because you're worried that you're not going to be able to pay your bill. You're a bit of a cunt, aren't you? There'll be loads of people that don't see anywhere near the bigger picture, but they're starting to see that. Not everyone. Some people are completely lost. Write-offs. We use profanity like you use punctuation. You do like my punctuation though, don't you, Lana? You know, sometimes I get a little bit lapse, I slack off a little bit, you know, but generally speaking, I do love punctuation. You know, I went to a grammar school and it was ingrained into me, but I liked it because I loved English. I just need to learn Scottish. That's all, you know. So if ever I end up there, I can get about, I can survive, you know, learn the lingo. When I had the Elquild, I haven't got my prescription glasses on, so bear with me. People are thinking, anyone that's just dropping in now, who's never been on this live stream, like, he's a thick cunt, isn't he? Louise, wow, listen to this thick cunt. He can't even read. Business flying kilt made e-juice. Oh, you dirty bastard! Because traditionally you don't wear anything under a quilt, a kilt. Sorry, that's the Englishman in me. Quilt, you know, instead of kilt. So you don't wear anything apart from your sparran, right? So an under the kilt e-liquid, be like, it'll taste like cock and bollocks, whatever that tastes like. I know they did a full English breakfast once. This is what they do. You know, they come out, they get some guy on acid, you know, who's got an e-liquid shop. Oh, I said a wicked idea, man. Named Lumreek at Christmas times, sold really well. Oh my god, it was rum gingerbread, a rum gingerbread cafe latte flavor. Yeah, that sounds quite interesting. I'd give that a go, but I need to get the cock and bollocks thing out of my head first, otherwise I won't appreciate it properly. I take that season's greetings back. I'll just say Merry Christmas instead. Hello, Lily. How you doing, sweetheart? The Queen of Seattle. Hello, my darling tribe. 1 p.m. in Seattle area. I haven't eaten yet. I've got something you can nibble on. I'm so sorry. Wrapped gifts until the wee hours. Merry, happy Christmas, and a very merry, happy Christmas to you too, Lily. I hope you've had a lovely day and continue to have a lovely day. E-liquid, yeah. Merry Christmas, Lily. It's enough sometimes just to be alive, hanging out with good people. It is. I totally agree with you, you know. But there are people out there this time of year that feel completely and totally isolated and alone, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I do a Christmas live stream, maybe a New Year's Eve live stream. I'm not decided whether or not we're going to go to the caravan or not, because if you remember, can you believe it was a year ago? It was almost a year ago when I wrote my car off on the way back from the caravan. Turned up, saw an RTA or a vehicle that had been involved in an RTA. The hazards were still flashing, and I went there in the dark, and I pulled over expecting to see a dead kids. I had all sorts of fucking horrible images in my head. Just took my torch over there to see if there was any casualties that could help, or, you know, and yeah, it was horrific. And that was before I got to the caravan. So when I got to the caravan, thinking that it was going to lift me up a little bit, I ended up having a terrible time there. Terrible. So then I ended up driving home early. So came home on Christmas Day, New Year's Day, and it just done nothing but rain, and I mean torrential rain non-stop. So I know the route home. I could probably maybe do it impaired with my sight, and turned a corner, and what used to be a road was a lake. Plowed straight into it. Windscreen wipers full on, flicked them straight on, full on. Made no difference. I couldn't see a thing, and it just drowned my engine. Rode my car off, and then fortunately, because of this channel and Annie, all of my friends and family members were all hammered. Annie doesn't drink, so she drove out and rescued me. You know, that was a year ago. Where's the time gone? How fast the year gone? So I might be going back there for New Year. I don't know yet. We'll see. But I agree. It is good to be around good people. It's good for us. Some people have got different views on what they think a good people are. You know. I'm very, very picky because life's too short. It's too short to be shallow. A lum is a chimney. Why don't you call it a fucking chimney? Chimney. Yeah, I know it's more effort, but everyone knows what it is. However, I do like the fact that, like, 3 hours, about 3 hour drive from here, I could be in Scotland, and you've got a different language, you use different words, and, you know, but then they're doing Birmingham, they're doing, you know, Lancashire and Yorkshire and Norfolk, and, you know, I love it. It's one of the things that makes our nation so beautiful, you know, the right kind of diversity. Reek smoke. Right, so reek up your lum. I mean, that sounds gross. That sounds sordid to me. But then, you know, I eat sordid for dinner. Hello, Jordan. You all right, mate? How you doing, my friend? Are you all right? Had a good day? Was Santa good to you? Did he bring you loads of presents? Because I'm pretty sure you've been a good boy this year, mate. And Merry Christmas to you too. Someday we will all meet in real life. I would love that. I would love that, Lily. I've mentioned it a few times. You know, imagine us all again going. I know I've said this 1,001 times, but the whole communication is 90% non-verbal. So you have to be in the presence of the person to get that other 90%. You imagine being in a room full of people like us, you know? It would be charged, but in a really positive way, a positively charged room. And I'd just love it. I would love that. So who knows? It's not off the cards. Nothing is. And that will be an awesome day. Yes, it would, Lana. It would. It would be a logistical nightmare, but who doesn't like a challenge? Cold here tonight again. Oh, it would freeze the boars. Here she goes again. The boars off AF. You can't help yourself, can you? It's like, right. It's time for the live stream, and now Teddy's all sorted and on that. Let's fuck his heat up. The boars, I'm assuming that's Scottish for bollocks, yeah. Off a brass monkey. I know what a brass monkey is, you know. So, you know, I muddled through. I got through it. Look, what someone got me for Christmas. You can't really see it. It's got a big T, and then it says Tezza. So for all my life, I've either been called Tez mainly, you know, because, you know, that's just an abbreviation of Terry. It's just easy. But then people started calling me T, you know. It's like I can't be asked for Terence, which I wasn't christened as. But Terry's easier. It's like, and then I can't be fucking bothered with Terry. I'll call him Tez. And it's like, oh, that's a fucking mouthful. We'll just revert right back to one letter. In fact, Sal, she called me T all the time, you know. Brass monkey is a brass triangle that iron cannonballs sat on. Wow. So I didn't know what a brass monkey looked like. I'm pretty sure that, at a guess, 90% of whoever's watching this and reading that was picturing a monkey that was made from brass. And we were wrong. Very wrong, you know? We couldn't get more wrong, you know? In fact, why the fuck did they have to call it a brass monkey? If it's a little nest thing for the big ball to kind of rest in, how would that look anything like a monkey? But then you've got a monkey wrench, you know? It's like, oh no, I don't want that wrench. I want a wrench that's been used by a fucking monkey, because that'll work better. You know? Mad world. When it got too cold, the brass would constrict and the balls fall off. Hey, you know, ladies have all their stuff tucked inside. You know, I don't know why I did that. I did this. I don't know why you need to do it. It's all tucked inside, you know. Ours, it's all hanging around. It's all hanging about, you know. So that's why, you know, we shrivel up sometimes. So if it's a cold night and you've not got the heating on, and it's your first night together of passion, and you finally get undressed, you know, you're trying to look all cool. And then she looks down and she's like, what are you supposed to do with that? It's cold. Mine shrinks right down to 9 inches. V for Vendetta, T for Truth. I like that. I like that. That's lovely. Yeah, I really like that, Michael. Yeah. Let me go and pour some more wine. Oh, you picture moment, Storm. You really want to go on that? Yeah. We'll go with quick as you can. You get one of them, do you? Storm. Okay. I forgot that when I whistle, it's to get their attention. I don't normally whistle, you know, unless it's a, you know, I don't normally do that, but I've been doing it recently, not excessively, not just driving down the road until I'm out of breath. I pick my moments, and it's always received well, always, because I'm not a creep. And you aim it at you think it through, make some calculations in your head, throw a wolf whistle out there, and it's received well, you know, because I'm sick and tired of all this nonsense. I mean, we've got these stupid bitch coppers. I don't like coppers anyway. Fucking hate them, all of them. That are just going out, being paid to go jogging in lycra and whatever. And as soon as someone wolf whistles, they turn around. That's harassment. We could nick you, but we're just going to let you off with a warning. I'd be like, you think I was wolf whistling you? That fucking dog is more attractive to me than you. Whether that was the truth or not, just to put them back in their fucking place. It's a waste. It's a waste of your money. They are a waste of your money. Yeah, so anyway, I went to the co-op and I bought these little tins of chicken breast. I don't know if you can make them out. I've never seen them before, but it's chicken breast. They were on special offer, otherwise I wouldn't have bought them. I mean, you know, I'm a man with a good appetite. That's not going to fill me up. But as a barterable item, it hits the spot. But it's chicken in jelly. And that's why it's a barter item, because I'm not eating chicken in jelly. Where's the jelly come from? What the fuck's that all about? I know that you can get some like slimy stuff around chicken, you know. The fat can be a bit slimy and stuff, but jelly? If you can answer that, I'd be very, very interested. I like people to give me answers to puzzles. It is a great film, and I'm just looking to see if You never told me, Michael, if you ever actually got around to watching it, because it's a film that I highly recommend, and it's, to some degree, it's kind of how I see things panning out. It's going to be violent, but again, I don't think it's going to be a case of there is going to be elements of people pitting up against each other, just out of frustration, anger, and desperation. But I think for the most part, people will band together against a common enemy, which is our government, Islam, and the cockroaches. So I see that film as a documentary on the future. An excellent film if you've never watched it. And I've got no idea why I don't own it on DVD, or do I? Yeah, I do. Stop whistling tea. I'm so sorry, mate. It set mine off as well. You know, they're like, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Who do you want me to kill, Dad? Hey? What's going on? We've got a treat. What is it? What's going on? What's going on? Why did you whistle? And that's what they're like, which is a good thing, you know. Me dog thinks me and attacking me all. Well, I hope he didn't attack you, mate, because I would feel bad. And I don't know where I'd fall with the whole kind of where there's a blame, there's a claim talk type thing, you know. I can't really afford to shell out for you to get a prosthetic bollock because your dog chomped one off because it heard me whistling on a fucking live stream. I don't need that kind of guilt on Christmas Day. Are you sure that's not cat food, Terry? Oh my God. Oh my God. Let me have a look. Fucking hell. That's a good point. That is a really, really good point. Bear with me, guys, because I need to make sure. I've got to make sure, you know, I don't want to be, because that would, oh my God, it is. Can you imagine? Right? I've had a few drinks down me. It's Christmas, right? I'm thinking, Terry, your body is a temple. Look after it. Look after it, Terry. Go and get some proper decent food down there. Have you got any chicken? Yeah, I have. Yeah. This is a conversation with myself. Right, well, what have you got? I've got some canned chicken in the fridge. It's ring pull as well, so I can just literally stick a fork in it and just eat it. Right, okay. Go and get it down you. Get some decent protein in you. Come on, off you go. All right. Cat food. It's even got two little ears. There, look. I had no idea. Well, fuck me sideways. That's annoyed me. And you know what's annoyed me the most and why it's annoyed me the most? Is because I'm a practical man, you know. I need to, now I feel like I need to get a cat just until those cans have gone and then rehome it. Do the right thing, you know. Yeah, but then that could be quite complicated. Yeah, well done, Leilana. Well spotted. I did watch it for the first time this year after you mentioned it. It was one of those films I never got around to watching for some reason. What did you think of it, Michael? All right, yeah, it's an inspired film, top draw. Oh, I'm so glad you. I don't think anyone in this live stream could watch that and not appreciate that film, because we all feel like that. Yeah, and even though none of us have been kind of sort of thrown into flames and had our skin burned and all of that, I think that's not necessarily. I think that's more symbolic. That right, it's flattening my ears down. Not. I feel like I look a bit of a twat in this hat. A twat in a hat. That's the name of my new book. Twat in a hat. It'll be a #1 bestseller on this street. How many tins did you buy? Just the 2, which is why I'm still smiling. You know, I'm still smiling because I've just got 2 tins, and the girls will smash through that, so it's fine. So there's no. It's not like Lana, actually. I had to get it delivered, 4 pallets, and the table is. I had to remove the base, the support for the table. The table is literally resting on 4,000 cans of that stuff. That didn't happen. So no harm done. No, it doesn't. Technically still barter item. Yeah, someone. Yeah, look, hey, whether someone's sat there thinking, oh, I've got no cat food, what can I do? Right? Regardless of whether someone's got a cat or not, you say, look, all I've got is a can of chicken breast in jelly. Now, it can be for humans, dogs, or cats, or whatever. You know, it's like any chicken. It's chicken breast. Do you want it? Yeah. Whoa. What are you going to pay for it? Or can you fix me a light? You know, have you got any electrical skills or, plumbing skills? I've got a dripping tap. Just trade. This is how I see the future. Cooperative. I'm learning skills, and I'm learning more and more skills, and I'm trying to advance on those skills and know that other people are doing the same. Some of you have already got some impressive skills already that are going to be useful moving forward. But to anyone out there that's not got any skills whatsoever, learn some. You know, if I was ever, for what it's worth, if I was to ever give any advice to anybody, it would be to learn some skills. Do you think what skills are going to be valuable moving forward for people that are trying to, if they do bring this digital ID in, I'm wondering if they've got some other mechanism to find another way in, because something like 85 to 90% of the country is against it. That's a lot of people, you know. So they're fucking bang straight into the first hurdle. You know, that's it. You can't fuck with that amount of people. That amount of people, you can't. You only need like 5% of the country really start kicking off. 5%. It's a significant amount of people. So when you're looking at 85 to 90% of the country that are anti-digital ID, but the downside is that the vast majority of people, 95% of people at a minimum, aren't prepared to be able to find another way around the system because they didn't think ahead. So they could end up in a situation where it's like, well, we've got no choice. But then when they start getting into the digital system, because they've had no choice, because they didn't think ahead, they had no buffer zone, then they can start to plot like everyone else. Plot. So it can still be turned around, you know. Have faith. Have faith. But yeah, that's how I see the future, and I think it would be really good. And anyone that's not got any skills or anything to offer, or to trade with, or to barter with, are going to be caught out. They are, and it's unfortunate, but that is the case. They're going to get caught out. Learn some skills. I mean, I need to start learning to practice my suturing, and first aid. I know quite a bit of first aid, to the point where I feel quite comfortable and confident. But I've never sutured, and I don't like blood. But I think that in situations where, you know, you kind of, the adrenaline's pumping and you go into autopilot, the skills that you've learned from the practice kits that you can buy. I know some of you have already seen these, but I just want to show you again. It won't take me long. It's only here. Bearing in mind we're kind of heading fucking straight in to chaos. 2006 will be the year of the bull. It won't be. I made that up, but it was, yeah, you get the idea. So I've got loads and loads and loads of sutures. And this is just a small amount of what I've got. I've got about 50. And I think 50 long term still isn't enough. So I'm still going to buy more. But in this kit, you get this kind of rubberized, and it's meant to be the same sort of kind of texture and density and feel of proper skin. So you've got your gashes and your slashes, you've got your very straight cuts, and then you've got your subcutaneous there, where it goes right through the skin and then through the muscle as well. So you've got to do two separate types of stitch, one to stitch the muscle together, then one to stitch the skin together. And then you need all of the triage bandages and all sorts of stuff to make sure that, and then you're looking at penicillin as well, which you can get hold of. You can. I did do a post on that. So for entertainment purposes only, fish penicillin has the same structure as human, pretty much as human penicillin and amoxicillin. So you can buy that on eBay. I did put a link. I did do a post, and I've got some. So I've got you know, antibiotics as well, in case any major infection kicks in there. So I need to make sure I've got every single angle covered from a medicinal point of view, and then I'm working on natural medications as well. And my mother and father-in-law came round on Tuesday, and she's got carpal tunnel syndrome. So the first thing I did, of course, was get the green pharmacy book out. I can search out, as the pikeys would say. And willow bark is the best thing to have for carpal tunnel syndrome, because you can have operation, you can have surgery to sort it out, but it's not uncommon for you to be able to go for that surgery sort the carpal tunnel. Carpal's quite a major nerve in your hand. Sort that out, but then you've created another problem, and that other problem could be worse. So you've fixed one problem and then created another one. There's twice as bad. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. So yeah, I've got this book. It's incredible, but there's a few things that I've picked up on and learned over the last sort of, or kind of things that have just dropped into my head, and I thought, fuck, yeah. And that is that I've made these tinctures way too strong, but I know how to put them right, to get them to the strength that they need to be. Now, with willow bark that can sort out carpal tunnel syndrome, used to be the original aspirin. So if I end up getting a willow bark tincture too strong, then they could OD on aspirin or end up with blood so thin they could just go achoo, and it's like just like tap, like pure like blood until they empty. It's like, just like a bag of skin and bones. Like that. So I've got to get that right as well. I need to get my head around that, you know. But as I'm learning more, I'm starting to. Oh, look at this! Look at this! This is impressive. I fucking love this album. Where are we? So as I start to master the art of tinctures and supplements and home remedies, in natural home remedies in general, right? I want to make sure that I can have fact sheets for customers further down the line. So I ended up buying this. That is a thermal printer. So you'll never, ever, ever, ever need ink. And it prints perfectly. And then, so that's the printer, and it runs off Bluetooth, and it's rechargeable. So even though it's not plugged into anything, I could use that now. It's got a full charge. It holds a roll of you do need special paper for it, which I've stocked up on. Of course I'm a prepper. So I've got spare 2 rolls of spare thermal paper, and the charger's in there, and I've got a few other bits and bobs in there, and there's room for some pens, loads of pens and stuff there, and marker pens and stuff. So this little thing here is a fully functioning printer, cordless, rechargeable. You can pick them up for about 40 quid. So I'll be printing off fact sheets with as much information as I can, both sides, and then laminate it so they don't keep coming back saying, I spilled my fucking tea all over it. I lost all the info. Can you do another one? So they get one, they get it laminated, and then it's there. And it's for my use as well, so that I can write down all the details of what's in my supplements, what they all do, then do an even deeper dive on each ingredient of all the supplements. There's something like 50 different ingredients in that 11 supplements that I've got, 50. So I need to make sure that there are no contra issues with medications that they may be on or may be allergic to. You know, it's a fucking minefield. So there's so much more to think about it. There's so much more involved, you know, to make sure that you don't end up fucking people up. You want to be helping people, not killing them. Anyway, that one was what my leg was like. Oh no, Lana, I know which one you're on about now. You see, I go all fucking tense and clammy, you know? This is what I mean. How fucking useless am I going to be suturing someone like, all white, just dripping with sweat, hyperventilating, they're going to feel really fucking relaxed and calm, aren't they? So yeah, just get me head around it. Get some fake blood, you know, just splat it somewhere, make it look like some sort of fucking murder scene or something, and go, oh, I like this. Just over. Well, that sounds really sick. It's got to be a way. Was reading about how good oregano oil is, yeah, but not too much of it. Use sparingly, yeah. Couple of drops mixed with olive oil and diluted, as can burn the mouth and stomach, and yeah, it can be pretty hardcore. I mean, I would love to make my own oregano oil, but I can't grow enough of the stuff. You need to grow it on an industrial scale in order to get that amount of oil, you know. Same as rosehip oil, proper rosehip oil. People are like, I've got some rosehip oil, like, it's really amazing for my skin, like, it's took 2 days off me. That's not fucking rosehip oil. That's someone's just crushed up a load of rosehips, right? And then added some fucking olive oil to it, and then strained it, so you've got a clear liquid. The amount of seeds from rosehips that you need to cold press in order to make a tiny little vial of proper rosehip oil, it's incredible. But it's good stuff if you get the proper stuff, but it's expensive because of the amount of seeds that are required. Well, then the seeds are surplus to requirement, because when you've got companies that are making rosehip syrup, you know, for babies and that, they discard the seeds anyway. So we just take a lot, cold pressing it. Sorry, I've fallen behind a little bit. I've went on waffle mode. I do apologise. Let me just go up again. Oh, Lana, it's all gone blue. Bit of blue. Fuck me, just go up. Right, I can only read where it says medicinal plants out there that we just walk past. Recognizing and foraging for them would be a fantastic skill to have. Absolutely spot on. Hello, Miss Polly Popcorn. I love that name. That's such a lovely username. I love it. It kind of rolls off and it sounds all happy. Nice to meet you, and thank you for joining us. Don't ever give anyone red clover. Why is that? There is something up with that herb. I agree. I always thought red clovers were fine. All clovers, all of them, all edible. I need to look into that. You've got me interested. I agree. You are right on red things to look at. Red invigorates. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I suppose it. Yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah. Although, yeah, it affects me bad, you know. But I need to get over it. Hey, Ruthie. Why? What does it do? Yeah, why? What does it do, Miss Polly? I'm sure you've already answered that, Miss Polly. But I'll work my way down to you. Hi, Ruth. Thanks. I'm not on Facebook anymore. I'm sorry if I've missed any comments. I can't go up. It won't let me go up. Hi, Michael. Happy Christmas. I'm just on Facebook for my groups, really. I don't show anyone what I had for tea or anything like that. Yeah, I can imagine you being quite a private person, actually, Ruth, because you know what's what. You see the world through the same eyes as we do, and your Stewie certainly does. And if you give me permission, I'll play that little video that you sent me in an email, because I think it was lovely. I really do, you know. And it's lovely to get to see Stewie for the first time. So if you give me a thumbs up, and I won't bother unless I've got your permission. Would that thermal paper be the same as receipt paper? It's exactly the same stuff. Yeah. But you can do A4 down to A5, you know, anything in between really. And I bought one. I couldn't get it to marry up with my phone through Bluetooth. Sent it back, got a refund. I thought I just ended up with a bad model, right? So I sent off with the same model again, got that, and it still wouldn't marry up with Bluetooth on my phone. And it wanted to know all sorts of stuff as well, you know? It was like, what? How, why do you need to know all this shit? Just let me know where I'm connected, right? Just works. It doesn't want to know when the last time I had sex, what blood type I am, what my address is. Fucking hell. Many different ways of getting into your. So in order for me to use that thermal printer, I've got a location on my phone. Yeah, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Ruth. To you and hubby. Did those books arrive? The foraging ones that you ordered? Oh, Lana, I fucked up because I ordered. I think I'd gone into it and then ordered and put them all in my basket. They're all still in my basket, and then I thought, should I still buy them? Because I've got a shitload of foraging books here that are all fit for purpose. And I thought, can I justify nearly 50 quid on 3 books? And I decided that I can't, based on the fact that I've got some great foraging books already. So I didn't end up getting them in the end. They're still in my basket, you know. So, yeah, it is what it is. Do you want anything like that? Where are we? Rosehip is very, very good. Yeah, it's got more vitamin C than anything else grown in this country. By far. 7 times more vitamin C than an orange. And I've got it concentrated and then some. Miss Polly. That's my rosehip tincture. So every day I just do that and put it back in a dark cupboard. And that's got that's 43% proof, as in it's 96 proof, so 43% alcohol, very strong. And you know, oregano is worth growing. I do grow it, but I don't grow enough of it. Same as coriander. I've had to buy that in. I eat more than I could ever grow. We're all quite restricted, you know. But I suppose I could start growing it. Again, I'm expanding my garden into public land, you know. And I know I'm not the only one who's doing that. I'm just the only one that's talking about it, and that's a good thing. I've had a lovely day, Ruth. Thanks. Thermal printer paper is toxic, Terry. Oh, fucking hell. I didn't know that. But I did know about printer paper because I think you might have shared something with me. I know I shared it online. I put it in the post section. It was something quite bad that can absorb into your skin. So yeah, I've got loads of rubber gloves, loads and loads of rubber gloves. So yeah, thanks for pointing that out because I didn't really think about that. Good point. Very good point. I will do. Thanks for the heads up there, Lana. Appreciated. I think I posted a link to a video showing the amount of chemicals that leach out when handling them. Yeah, that might have been you, Jordan. I know it was someone else. It was someone else that made me like, I was like, you know, it really got my attention. I felt my little walnut brain moving around in my head then. But you can't do that, can you? But I know I got it from somewhere. Wish I hadn't done that. In the paper, yeah. Ooh. I don't know what you're ooh and perfecting at, but I'm glad that you approve it. Whatever that is, Miss Polly Popcorn. I still love that name. It's great. So is Lana's Cosmic as Avatar and Butterfly, and you've all got lovely little names. And I mean, Michael's Michael to me now. You know, Lana's Lana to me now. Ruth's Ruth. And Jordan's Jordan, and you know, David's David. But I do love these creative, beautiful names. They're lovely. They really sound really positive. I use organic acerola cherry powder for vitamin C. Now that has got more vitamin C than rosehips, but it doesn't grow in this country. And I don't think you can grow it in this country unless you've got a fucking orangery, you know, or a lemonry. Then you could get away with it, but you can't just guerrilla garden that stuff. So as far as trying to rely on stuff that you can grow in this country, including Scotland, you know, and you want something that's going to give you a proper vitamin C smack, rosehips, because you can grow them. They grow everywhere. Doesn't matter what sort of rose bushes you've got. It doesn't matter about the bush. It's all about the hip. Oh dear. It's natural vitamin C and not synthetic, and is found in most on the shelf ones. I've not come across it in any shops or anything like that, but I know you can't grow it. I know you can't grow it here because I did look into it, and they don't actually look like cherries either, do they? They look more like pears. Very unusual. If I've got that right, let me know, Lana. Miss Polly Popcorn. I don't always read people's names out. I read the messages out, but I just like saying. Miss Polly Popcorn. Yeah, find a patch somewhere and see if you can guerrilla plant a young plant of it. What are the acerola cherry? No, I meant the ones on the shelf mostly have synthetic. But yeah, it's all shit. It's all shit. We've got to go back to nature. We really do, because it fixed us. It sorted us out. Look, there are so many people out there that are saying, look, the reason that we've gone from an average lifespan of 40 to 83, which is significant on an average, significantly lower than that now. Yeah. Is because a big pharma. Is it fuck? It's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with sanitization. That's it. A cleaner way of living, a more sanitized way of living. That's added an extra 40 odd years. But when you start researching all of these berries and these roots and these plants and these leaves and all of that, and then you look at the origins and you're thinking, right, well, the Romans were using this, they swore by it, and it's carried on through the centuries until the fucking Rockefellers came along and they demolished the whole thing. If the Rockefellers didn't exist, and I hope one day they don't, we would still be using this stuff. We would. Hello, Ray. How you doing, sweetheart? Merry Christmas. Hope you've had an all right day. Yeah, I do think I look a bit like a pikey, Ray. As soon as I put this hat on, it's mad. It's like Wurzel Gummidge, when he used to take his head off. Take it off. Kids were watching that shit. And then pick another hat. Another hat on, right? As soon as I put this hat on, I do feel like ripping you off because I feel like a pikey. I feel like selling you a dodgy caravan or something. So if I try and sell you a dodgy caravan, just know it's not me, Ray. It's not me. It's the hat. Of oregano, we moved on from talking on that, but go guerrilla garden oregano. Yeah, do you know what, Miss Polly Popcorn? I was thinking about that but one thing that was kind of getting in the way of me doing that was because I know plenty of places where I could grow it because it's not, but then it is quite recognizable and you can smell it as well, especially when it flowers. Is it a perennial? Because I need to do, yeah, don't worry, it's definitely gone in. Definitely. It's definitely a contender because it's so good for you. But I've got quite a significant list now of things that are worth growing. I got my creeping snowberry seeds through today. You get 20 seeds, the tiniest little fucking seed you've ever seen in your life. 20 of them for £6. So if I can make a success from these creeping snowberries, I can undercut them by half. Let it go to seed and then sell the seeds locally. And then I need to start researching packaging because they do exist. Because Michael, he received his tobacco plugs in a proper, like a wallet thing, like a plastic wallet where the plugs fit in perfectly into the wallets. I've tried sending tobacco plants out to several people, including Jordan and Lana, and it's just been a complete and total disaster because it's like, oh, fragile, fuck off, until it gets to the next part of the process to being delivered, and it's like, fragile, this way up, fuck off, So by the time it gets to the other person, it's just been completely trashed. There's like half the plants that have survived out of 12. So you can get these special cases, but they're not going to be cheap. So if I can grow creeping snowberry plugs, I can sell them at a premium. But again, if I'm not sort of twisted up into the digital ID system and I've completely separated myself, I won't have a bank account. I won't be able to pay for electric or gas or water. So I'll be kissing that all goodbye, apart from the water. That's a battle I'm looking forward to. I won't be able to have a car. There's so much, but then systems will emerge for us to gravitate towards, further down the line. But yeah, you spot on there, Miss Polly Popcorn, in regards to growing oregano wild. It's definitely a contender. But I want something. I want stuff that's going to keep coming back and keep coming back and keep coming back. Thanks, Lana. I've took a screenshot and we'll take a look for that organic cherry powder. It's good stuff. I've read up on it, Michael. I've not got any myself, but it's good stuff. If you feel like a cold coming on, I mean, I've got an elixir in the make at the moment that's not going to be ready for about another month or so. That should, yeah, you know, with that, taking it like 5 drops of that, that should stop the symptoms of a cold in its tracks. If you continue with the drops for about 3 or 4 days, that's it. Then your body is able to still purge whatever it is it's trying to get out of its system. That's all it's doing. It's doing a reset. You're not caught anything. You're not caught a cold. It's just your body turning around and saying, I've got some shit I need to get rid of. And whilst I'm getting rid of it, you're going to feel like shit. That's the cold. That's the flu. You've just been lied to for years and years, decades and decades and decades. Just lies and lies and lies, and then more lies. But we are seeing through the fog of bullshit now. So many of us are. And that's a form of freedom, you know? When you start to know what's what, you feel free. You feel free. It's like you feel like you've just kind of thrown you've just broken another clasp, another chain off, fucked it off, and another one, fucked it off. The more you learn, the more free you become. And the more free you become, the stronger you become. The stronger you become, the more formidable you are. And that's what this world needs. Yeah, dodgy caravan. David, do you want a caravan? It is a caravan. You know? Comes with a dag. If you get the caravan, you got to get a dag. I'll throw in 2 dags. It's mad because I've actually got a dodgy caravan. I mean, what are the odds of that? I've literally got a dodgy caravan, but I know the dodgy bits. So, but as long as it's waterproof, it's fine. That's the main, it's all about your roof. You can kind of manage with everything, all of the little issues, any of the little problems and stuff in your own home or a caravan or a motorhome, as long as it maintains integrity, you know. I buy mine from 5 Greens in the UK, sell on Amazon too, as well as direct from their website. Send me a text there, Michael, because I do like tried and tested sources. I think we all do, you know, because I think we all there is a degree of trust in us. I think we know we wouldn't fuck each other over. And if we fuck up, we own up. Yeah, me too. I'm screenshotting Lana. Oh, lovely. Hey, Lana, you're popular tonight. I might hire you full time. Fixed minimum wage. But not the government's minimum wage. My minimum wage. It's like about £2 an hour. You know, don't complain. You have to just fucking sit there. You don't have to do anything. Just type. Okay, now. Fucking financial vampire. In fact, no, you're sacked. Before I've even hired you, you're sacked. You've already done me head in with your fucking Scottishness. Fucking with me head. Oh, it's a perennial. Right. Lovely. Sold. Miss Polly Popcorn. I love saying that. Scandalous price, that, Terry. £6 for 20 seeds. It is. But that was a going rate. You know, I tried to find some cheaper and I couldn't. I do think actually, I think Michael might have found a cheaper one for me, but I don't know. I just kind of got lost in the moment. But it doesn't matter. I'm going to get them going. I've got the kit to get the seeds going, and then as soon as they've started to grow, I'm going to just nurse them into a strong plant, strong plug, and then in spring, I'm going to, even if 70% of them are viable, which is good, that's not bad, 70, 80%. So that's still going to leave me with like 14, 15 seeds. So I'll plant 2 in the garden, a couple of meters apart, so that they can cross-pollinate, 2 by 2 by 2 by 2, like Noah's Ark. And I know where to plant them all as well, and no one's going to touch them. They're going to think they look poisonous, which is the point. When do people start their tomato plants off? I started mine really early off, and then look, Ruth, I started mine off really early, right? And I ended up with my first fully ripe tomato in November when I brought them all in. I really fucked that up. I don't know why. I don't know what I did wrong, because I grew loads of other stuff that thrived. But that seems to be the thing every single year now. But yeah, around January is when I start mine off. Yeah, it's a good time to start them off. But that's just me. January. I mean, some people put Christmas trees up in halfway through fucking November. So we're all different, aren't we? If you've got the means to start stuff off and give it a really good, healthy start, go for it. All pikeys have a dag. You should put an A instead of an O. They're A. And they don't love their dog. I don't think they love their dogs like we do. You know, a lot of them live outside, and because they don't want the caravans dirty. They don't see them as family. They just see them as guard dogs and dogs for fighting and stuff like that. I don't like their way of life. I'm not a pikey fan. I don't like them at all. The only thing I like about pikeys is that they have a very, very, very powerful sense of community. And that's something that we're lacking now, that we used to have when we were kids. Other than that, they're fucking scumbags, a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Send things in a 20 vial storage box. 10 milligram vial, magnetic closure, just for tiny seedlings, tough boxes. You can look up similar medical supply carrying tough plastic. But you've got to, what the thing is though, Miss Polly Popcorn, is that you've got to factor that into the price. You've still got to make the price look attractive to someone that's selling, to someone that's buying on eBay, for example. So you start adding kind of really expensive packaging in there. You've got to push that onto them, because you want to try and, you don't want to take the piss. I'm not a greedy man. I never have been, you know, but I don't want to kind of put too much on them. But I'll tell you what, Lana, you know, whilst I'm I don't suppose you could just make a note of what Miss Polly Popcorn has just said there, just so you can have a look. Just have a look for me. I really appreciate that. Because that sounds like something you can put plugs in, and that's what I'm looking at, because the other ways, as Jordan knows, as Lana knows, and the only one customer that I ever had on eBay knows, is that it's a disaster, even though I put every bit of effort in there, you know. They need to be contained, they need to be secured. Each plant needs to be secured. And I think selling creeping snowberry plugs could be quite lucrative. If it's 20 quid for 6 quid for 20 seeds that you can't even see, you know, postage is just one first class stamp. That's it. Temporarily lost sound there for a few minutes, but refreshed and sound is working again. I do apologize, guys. I have got this error message on my screen, and it's not gone away. It's been on there for 20 minutes. So let me turn the internet off on my phone so it's not so diluted. I don't know if that's going to help or not, but we'll soon find out. Where are we? Elderberry syrup is what USA preppers swear by. Are you Miss Polly Popcorn? Are you American? Just out of curiosity, because we do have some Americans in our tiny little tribe, which is fascinating and lovely, beautiful. Just goes to show that as big as the world is, it's very small at the same time, and like-minded souls are drawn together. And I believe in that. I believe in all that. Things happening for a reason, you know, people coming in and out of each other's lives and just making a tiny little impact that might be, you know, vast further down the line. And I do believe that. People can alter the course of your life, but not necessarily, not significantly alter the course of who you are. By that, I mean going from being a good person and turning into a complete wanker. That only happens to weak people, you know? But elderberry syrup, you see, I've got elderberry bushes growing in my garden, and I've got one elderberry bush that I didn't even plant. So I've got two different species. I've got the Nigra. It's not racist. I didn't say nigger. Which is the dark purple one with all the dark black foliage and dark berries. Well, the berries are the same colour. It's the foliage that's a different colour. And then I've got the standard European one growing now that I never planted. So I've got a bounty of elderberries, and I'm starting to research what I can do with that, and syrup's one of them, because that's a proper vitamin C punch in the face. Vitamin C is so important. Vitamin C and vitamin D for your immune system. We need our immune system to be tip top because they're doing everything they possibly can to destroy it. Is neurology programming? Oh, that's an interesting question. No, I think it's psychological. Same thing. Neurology is science of the mind. So I think it's about knowing what parts of the brain do what each part of the brain is, what each part of the brain's job is. I think that's neurology. And then finding out what can go wrong with each part of that brain, your frontal lobe, your temporal lobe, your frontal cortex, all the different, but then you right down to your pineal gland, and what's that other tiny little pea gland that's right in the middle? Something epidermis. Oh, I can't remember. I'm not going to start making words up. So I think that's neurology. I think programming is that's exterior. That's external. Programming is external. Neurology is the understanding of the brain, which could tie in with knowledge. That knowledge, because a lot of psychologists and psychiatrists are going to need to know a little bit about neurology. Yeah, that's a very, very interesting question, that. I like that. Very thought-provoking. There is power in words, right? I think we've all learned that. But where do you draw the line between knowing that there's a lot of power in words and self-censorship, or censorship of any kind? Because I'm a firm believer in 100% freedom of speech, right? No one's ever going to tell me what I can fucking say and what I can't, ever. So, but I'm also aware that, you know, when you do spells, there is power in words, there is. And you can affect your own, again, going back to the water consciousness thing. I don't want to waffle on. You're sort of like 70 to 80% water. And if you turn around and tell yourself that you love yourself, you'll feel better. If you keep saying, I hate myself, I don't like looking in the mirror, every time I open my mouth, I fuck it up, and I do this, and you're constantly pulling yourself down, that's going to affect you physically, literally. So it's about finding that balance. But if it was a case of don't use any of these powerful words or these powerful sayings, or total freedom of speech, I would go for the latter, regardless of the risk. Because the erosion of freedom of speech is a very, very slippery slope. And it's a slippery slope that I'm not prepared to go on, ever. You know, doesn't matter who tells me that you can't say that, fuck off. I want to say whatever I want to say. You know, I'm not, you know, I'm not a bastard. I don't purposely go around making people feel bad, and I do the opposite. I try and do the opposite of that, because there's not enough of that in the world. I think everyone should try and, you know, try and make someone feel good somewhere, but be sincere, because it doesn't work otherwise. That's the power of words. You see, it's the intention behind the words that gives it the power, that gives it the spell. So as long as you're positive and you're a good person and you mean well, your words will never harm anyone. So freedom of speech, I'll fucking fight until I die for that. No one's ever telling me what I can and can't say. You know, when they turn around and say, of course we've got freedom of speech in this country, right? But whenever there's a but, fuck off. So yeah, going back to the I'm not ill because my body messes up the word. I like you, Miss Polly Popcorn. You're fitting in quite well here. I think people are going to like you. You should come back. Be a regular at Terry's Midnight Lounge, or whatever we want to call it. Because we all think outside the box. And I like that, because the mind should never be a box. It wasn't designed that way. Free thinkers, I love them. I love being around them. I love talking to them. I love being in their company. I love them. I love them. Free thinkers, because free thinkers appreciate free thinkers. Free thinkers struggle to be around people that are narrow and shallow. And did you watch EastEnders last night? Oh my gosh, God knows what's going to happen next week. I can't cope with that. I have to exclude myself, and I'll do it politely, but I have to get away from them, because they fucking fry me head. The human mind is such a beautiful, incredible thing. It's the most intricate, complex thing that, as far as we know, in the universe. the human mind. So when I know that there are people watching EastEnders and Coronation Street and stuff like that, you know, I just think, what a waste of a mind. It's so sad, you know. And again, I'm not. And if anyone's listening and they watch EastEnders and that, you do you, I'll do me. I just think it's a waste of your life when you could be researching and learning about the world and how it ticks and people and, you know, learning about natural medicines and stuff like that. Anything other than that fucking mind numbing shit. Similar to the vial box you already have for seeds. Yeah, but that doesn't work. But what I got my plugs in, because Michael gave me the first one, which flourished, and I've got shitloads of seeds from that because it had been pollinated, you know, because of the flowers that grow out the top. It's a beautiful plant. But I bought a load of plugs, and those plugs were all set perfectly into these little recesses, these plastic recesses, set perfectly, and they arrived in perfect condition. They're all perfect. They're all growing in my kitchen, overwintering. So these things exist, but I wish I'd not thrown, you know, I was so excited about having all these tobacco plants. I'm like, right, recycling, even though only something like 7% of what you recycle actually gets recycled. And now they're on about bringing another bin out for kitchen waste. So you'll have 4 bins. This is death by 1,000 cuts. The road works where there's no workman. The fucked up traffic lights. This, that, whatever, you know, it's death by 1,000 cuts. You add all of these extra little niggly little things, it starts to affect society, even down to adding another bin, even though we've got 3 bins, when we only need 1 bin, maybe 2, 1 for garden, you know, because they don't recycle it, the vast majority of the stuff that we put. I mean, I used to wash all my jars out, wash all the tins out. I still do, in the hope that some of it's going to get recycled. It'll be attractive and clean enough for them to go, yeah, that's worth recycling. You know, because they're like that. People that work at these recycling plants, a thankless job. The placebo effect. Absolutely, David. It's so powerful. This is why they use the placebo effect in all medical trials. All of them. Well, they used to, until mRNA came along. So, fuck it. We don't want the fuck placebo. We don't need that. We don't need that. We've got this. We need to depopulate the planet. How's the placebo effect or the placebo trials of this medication going to help us depopulate the planet? It's not. So fuck it off. Any new medication that comes out now, or anything that's been adapted or altered or changed in any way, now it's very suspicious. Even the tetanus jab, that's been fucked up. But even then, you didn't need that. You see, I stood on a rusty nail when I was a butler for the night for Sal and her friends. She had loads of female friends come round, and I butlered up. You know, I wasn't a topless butler, not topless. At that time, I had bigger tits than a lot of women. You know, I haven't now. And I was making sure that they had a fire going, so that they were all kept warm, and whilst they were cackling away like a little coven of fucking witches having a good time, bringing the drinks out, topping them all up, making sure the fire was kept going. But I was using pallet wood from pallets that I'd nicked. If it was in a skip, no one wants it. I'll have that. And I stood on quite a long nail, and it went straight through my shoe and straight into my foot. And I went, it was instinctive at the time. I didn't know half of what I know now. And a lot of you guys wouldn't have known half of what you know now if it wasn't for the last sort of 5-6 years. A lot of you, So it was instinctive for me to think, oh shit, what if I get tetanus? So I had a tetanus jab, but that was about 10 years ago. So I don't feel too worried, but I wouldn't have one now. And you can't get tetanus from a rusty nail. You get tetanus from, is it cow shit? Something in cow shit. How often do you rub cow shit into a cut? Or how often is there a rusty nail sticking out of a cow shit? Look it up. It's cow shit or something like that. Lana. It's not cow shit, Terry. It's or it might be, but it's something like that. It's very rare. But because of the way that it's all of these medications and these jabs and all of that these fucking GPs get kickbacks from, they lie to you and manipulate you, program you, Miss Polly Popcorn, into believing that you'll need a tetanus for that when you don't. Anyway. Oh, right, you're in the UK. Where in the UK are you from then, Miss Polly Popcorn? Are you North, South, Midlands, Scotland, Ireland, Wales? But either way, I'm glad that you found us, and I'm glad that we found you. Learned a lot from American though. Yeah, we all have. Yeah, they've got a lot to give to us. We've got a lot to give to them, and we're all in the same boat. Amygdala. Amygdala. Are you trying to fuck me up, Michael? Good. I don't know what that is. Tripod Terry's Lounge. That's got a really nice ring to it. I wonder how much it would cost to get a neon light up there. Tripod Terry's Lounge. I would like to get something like a neon sign behind me, but I think it would probably need to be something more tasteful than that. Or would it? Hippocampus, thank you. Miss Polly Popcorn, yes, that tiny little part of the brain. It's right in the center of your brain, and it moderates your body temperature, your respiration levels, the way you breathe, your blood pressure. It's an incredible gland right in the center of your brain. Tiny little pea-shaped, pea-sized. And it does all that. Incredible. Thank you very, very much, Miss Polly Popcorn. Because I hate it when I forget shit, because the hippocampus and the pineal gland, without them two, we'd be fucked. We'd just be zombies. Zombies in a mess, But then zombies are in a mess, aren't they? They don't do well. They certainly don't look well. I think I missed a section when my sound went off for a few minutes, Terry. That's all right, sweetheart. It's this laptop and shit Wi-Fi. Listen, I got an email through saying, "Would you like an improvement on your BBP, whatever it is, all the technical shit jargon that I'm not interested in, for an extra £15 or £20 a month?" I'm thinking, no. I'll muddle through, thank you, because I've got their Wi-Fi bursting through my body, their Wi-Fi bursting through my body, and my own. I'm probably next door but one and next door but one that way as well. So I don't want more power of EMFs trying to destroy my cellular system. So we'll just muddle through. We'll always muddle through. The wee man needs out. Oh, he's so beautiful. Little Floyd, he's so cute. He's got such a characterful face. I'm trying to learn it. I want to realise it is possible to shorten my words. You don't... well, I think it is possible to shorten your words. But then I'm a big fan of the English language, and I just think that it should be embraced and used properly, and cherished. I really do. I loved English. I never played truant when it was an English lesson, double lesson, double spread. I always turned up to English, always turned up to art, always turned up to history, and always turned up to RE, religious education, even though I'm not religious. I was just fascinated by how, so many people in the world can be religious. I'm trying to be polite when I say that. So it always fascinated me, and I learned a lot. So I never played truant when I had a good set of, when there was a really decent set of subjects for that day. I would attend school for that day because I knew I would get something from that personally, But when it was anything else, games or anything like that, or maths or whatever, fuck off. Not interested. But yeah, interesting, Miss Polly Popcorn. Don't try not to do what you want to do, and do it for the right reasons. Don't allow yourself to be manipulated and oppressed by the powers that shouldn't be, ever. Pallets are treated with methyl bromine, so don't be burning indoors tea. I won't burn it. I won't burn them indoors ever. I've got loads of good sources of natural wood all over the place that I can access. On top of my stockpile, I would never burn that stuff inside. And but it's also good for building raised beds and stuff like that. Pallet wood's good, it is, and because it's been pre-treated, you can then paint stuff over the top of that to stop anything toxic that it's been pre-treated with from escaping into your veg. There's so much we can do. And again, where you might think, right, well, I can't grow enough in my own garden, guerrilla garden. I don't know how to do this. Well, learn to do that and then trade your skill for someone else's skill. You know, and the list goes on and on and on. A cooperative society. I only found out that one of my nephews, because I went to see my sister, I need to put more effort in to see my sister and my brother. Just one sister and my only brother. The others can go fuck off because we don't jive. His mum's unjabbed, and he's a fully qualified electrician. And he's been going out with a girl for the last 5 years who's doing a master's degree in psychology. So, and there aren't enough psychiatrists out there, psychologists out there. Psychology, sorry. One's shit, the other one's useful. Psychology is a good thing. Psychiatry, it's like, okay. Take these drugs. They're just fucking drug dealers, just like your GP is. They're drug dealers, that's all they are. Psychologists, they dig down. They find the root of the problem, and then they bring you back up, fix it. Find the root of the trauma, and then repair it. Reparations. Psychiatrists, drug dealers. That's all they are. I went on a bit of a tangent there. I think I went off-piste significantly. Was that all off the back of pallet wood? Surely not. Yeah, it was. Oh dear. Bromide. Well, I've run out of wine and I'm drinking bromide now and I feel all right. These two go nice together. It's like a proper little naughty Christmas treat. I've got a glass of Baileys and a glass of Pinot. It's nice. It's not a strong one. It's only 11%. It's really, really smooth. It's lovely. Very fruity. Christmas present. A part of the brain is the amygdala. I typed it when you were searching for the word. I've never heard of that, but it was the hippocampus. Yeah. The hippocampus is incredible. And I learned that from, I dated a nurse for 2 years. So I learned as she was learning, and she was so enthusiastic about it. And I've been out with her. It's fucking gone. But anyway, yeah. So I learned about that from her, and I've been out with a mathematician as well, and looking. Look, I can't even do all of my times table. I can't. And so looking at it was like a completely different language. Some of the where it was like hieroglyphics. It was completely I couldn't relate to it in any way, but it was natural to her. But yeah, going out with this nurse, I mean, because I was interested in what she was learning. My enthusiasm bounced off her enthusiasm, and I think she might have even got through that a little bit easier because of my enthusiasm, because I was asking her questions and she was then kind of digging deep. And anyway, it don't matter. But that's how I got to find out about the hippocampus. Where there is a will, there is a way. Absolutely, David. And that is so true. I've always said, I'll never let anything get in my way. you know, and I've always found a way. I've never ever let anything get in my way. If I know that I need to reach that point, right, I either find a way to go around it like water, my friend, or smash straight through it. You know, find a way, or jump over it. Find a way. There's always a way. I'm sick and tired of hearing people going, I can't do it because this, I can't do it because that. It fucking does my head in. And that reverts back to Miss Polly Popcorn's comment early on about words. You know, I will get better. I'm not ill. I'm just this, or, you know, it's about turning it into a positive. Your body reacts to that and you get a better outcome. You know, we've all heard of people saying, if you think negatively, you'll attract negativity, you know, and there is something in that. There is. I don't think it's as straightforward as that, or is it? I might have to head out. Got to walk my dog. It's a dag. It's a dag. And then go to bed. It's nice to meet you all here. I hadn't spent much time on your stream before. Have a great evening. You too, Miss Polly Popcorn, and don't be a stranger. You are very welcome back here. You fit in very, very well. You know, you sound lovely. You sound like our cup of tea. So thank you for joining us, and sleep well and sweet dreams. And we'll see you on the flip side, 2026, if not before. Convoluted language is what makes religion spiritual, and all the literal acts of beauty, such as a variable thing, but people don't always like it. Yeah, I understand. I do. Yeah. Yeah. Isn't she lovely, eh? She fits right in. She does. Yeah, she does. Be right back. Or BRB, as the kids say. I don't dislike abbreviations, but I also like English, you know. It's a beautiful language. Best language in the world. It's a culmination of so many different languages. That's what makes it so unique. We've been invaded and invaded and invaded over and over and over. And then it's like, we don't get any invasions anymore. We're sorted. And now we're being invaded off the charts. And no one's doing a thing. No one's doing a thing. Yet. So this is just for entertainment purposes only, right? I would just like to just say that there are people out there that are now seeing the cockroaches. Again, I know they're not all cockroaches, probably about 95% of them, a guesstimation. I've gone from being very secure and very safe in their little ivory towers with security and police protection. The irony that we are paying the police to protect the people that are here to do us harm. You couldn't make this shit up. So they're being moved out of the hotels and into multiple occupancy residences, right? Houses and flats. No security there. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot to mention that, Lana, that they're usually on a Friday night. But Christmas fucks everything up. You see, everyone's like, right, because there are people out there that do like to stick to, this is my routine. I don't want to break it because it makes me feel safe and comfortable. And I get that. I do get that. I understand that. Let me put that off, because I do look like a pikey, and it makes my ears flip down. I start to look like a fucked up Spock, a fucked up Spock, where instead of it being like that, it's like that. It's not right. It's not right. So where was I? Yeah, right. So Christmas, it screws everything up. People do like their little routines and that, and I get that. I do understand that. I think routine is a really good thing. It's a healthy thing. But on the flip side to that, I also think it's a very healthy thing to break your routine now and then. Just now and then, break it, completely break it. In any other area of your life other than your sleeping pattern, that's something that you need to nail down, and that's something I'm trying to work on. And not on my own. No, I'm not. But I'll call her Polly. Less of a beautiful mouthful. She's clearly subscribed. So when I put a notification out for a live stream, she'll either join us or she won't, and this will attract like-minded people. And that's always been, maybe not initially. I think initially it was set up to be a journal and sharing prepping information, giving prepping information, and getting prepping information from you. But as it kind of started to evolve, I started to see it as a perfect platform for getting people that are very like-minded, people that think like we do, because we're not everyone's cup of tea. Like I said, look in the post section, Hitler was in there in the post section. So that's not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But for those that know my sense of humor, don't know that I'm no fucking. I'm not about slaughtering loads and loads of people or anything like that. But I don't think he was either. So I do think that we've accrued people that think like us, what society as a whole would consider to be maybe oddballs, you know, unusual people, when in actual fact we're real, very real about everything. You know, I think people can, again, I think most, if not all of you could chime in on a conversation that anyone's having about anything, and you could fit straight in, because you, even if you don't know a lot about it, you'll still have an opinion. You know, not a lot of people can do that, so that makes you all rounders, and that's a gift. That is, it is. That we spend so much time seeing the way that we are as a bit of a curse sometimes, and I think that's a shame. Because no, actually, well, it is a shame, but I get where you're coming from, because I feel like that sometimes. It can be a lonely place being like this, knowing stuff. And then wanting to discuss stuff that really fucking matters with people that don't want to hear it. They go la 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 la. They don't want to hear it because it's too much for them. It's too uncomfortable. The truth usually is. Whereas we've had to build up a tolerance, and it's took a long time for us to build that up. On top of going through our own shit. So going through our own shit whilst having to take on board all of this knowledge and awareness at the same time, destroys a lot of people. It does. But it hasn't destroyed you. I like that. I like that, Lana. Lana is the only woman I've ever known that's made pissing sound spiritual and a little bit posh. Yeah. So thank you, Lana. Thank you. Yeah. You just expanded my mind more. So every now and then, when I go for a slash, right? I don't know why they call it a slash either, because there's no knives or axes or swords involved. It's just me holding that, trying to direct it as best I can, so I don't get into trouble with any ladies that use the toilet, right? That they don't. No one does, you know. Yeah. Who thought of slash? I'm going for a slash. What am I drinking, mate? I've got a bit of a selection, guys. That's what I mean. It's Christmas, so I don't know why. But then Christmas is all about. So look at Christianity. Don't worry, Ruth. I'm not about to slice and dice it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, especially on Christmas. You know. In Christianity, you've got like the all the deadly sins and, you know, the commandments and all that, right? So gluttony is a sin, and just excessive eating, excessive drinking, excessive everything, which is bizarre because we're doing everything on Christmas Day the Bible says is bad. Yet it's a Christmas event. It's a Christian event. That's one thing. Gluttony, right? This is all off the top of David saying, "What are you drinking?" I'm drinking a nice Pinot, a Grigio, not French, and Bailey's, and I'm going between the two, you know, and it works quite well. Then take into account that when Jesus was born, there were baby lambs, calves, you know, baby this, baby that, all around baby Jesus. In the middle of winter. Middle of winter. Just gonna have a top up. So the way I see it is that it would appear that Christmas as an event appears to be a culmination of many things, many belief systems, and yeah, it's, and then you take into account Santa Claus was the image of the ho ho ho, big white beard, big red jacket, red trousers on the sleigh thing, was invented by Coca-Cola, which is a disgusting, despicable corporation that's poisoning people and destroying the environment. So the Santa Claus, as we know, it's not Saint Nick as kind of the saint, if you like. It was a character that was created by a corporation, you know. So there's I mean, I could pull Christmas apart all night long, but I don't want to ruin that I don't want to do that on Christmas Day, because I think it would be distasteful. But I do like that, Lana. Are you praying to the porcelain god, Terry? Yes, I was. But instead of like that, I was like that, you know, because I still need two hands. Teflon Tribe, I like that. You got some good fucking catchphrases, Michael. Really good. I hope you're writing them down. More like the Unteflon Tribe. Yeah, I've just got that, Lana, because instead of none of it sticking, we all stick, you know. I think that's what she meant. I hope that's what she meant. I'm on even s'mores, death, a marshmallow and biscuit stout. What the fuck is that? Are you making this shit up as you go along, David? Because that's just scrambled my little brain. Is that a real thing? It's quite a mouthful. Probably, literally. But I mean, I've had a few stouts, and I've had a few stouts in my time. I quite like a stout, and stouts can be quite medicinal. They can be good for you, in moderation, of course. But yeah, that's very interesting, mate. Do you know what, David? I would really appreciate it if you could email me with that and a link to where I can get some from, so I can try it, because I've tried all sorts of stouts. I do love stouts. I love them, you know, full-bodied, you know when you're drinking one. People automatically think, oh, is it like Guinness? And it's not, you know. I've had a few nice ruby stouts. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. I could talk about that all night. I love them. Probably not the best word I've used. It still sounded good, mate. It did. Christmas is a man-made festival. So is Easter. I love that, Ruth, because I know you're a Christian, and it makes me love and respect you even more, that you are so switched on. And I think if I'd pissed you off significantly enough, you wouldn't have been still here after 5 years, So just know that you're loved. I hope I get to meet you one day, give you a big hug. Whether you want it or not, you'll get a big hug. You will. I would say pagan. Yeah, it does seem that way, but I don't want to offend it. No, you won't offend anyone here. I've come to realise this over the past few years. I love that, Ruth. I love that. And you're so lovely, You're so lovely. You've always been lovely. You gave me the spark that gave me a kick up the arse. And I don't think I would be doing live streams if it wasn't for that kick, that spark that I won't go into. So I've got a lot to thank you for. Hey, Christmas has pagan roots. It does. And again, paganism, people think paganism, animal sacrifice at some fucked up little altar in the middle of the woods with loads of people wearing twigs and shit. There's so much more to it than that. And it wasn't anything like that. It was about connection to the earth, connection to the world, So Lana knows that we are all connected. Everything's connected somehow, some way. And paganism was probably a good example of how that was celebrated. It wasn't a nasty, horrible, horrific, sacrificial, slaughtering religion. It was a way of life and an appreciation of nature, So thinking back to, say, the North Americans and maybe the Aborigines in Australia as well, when they, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them, sometimes they gave thanks to the animal that they slaughtered and they killed to eat. They gave thanks to that animal. And paganism was a little bit like that. It was like whenever I've taken, when I've taken berries off plants, I've thanked the plant. Oh man. And I don't think everyone would get that, but I'm thanking, that plant has given me sustenance. It's given me an organic food that I can eat and my body will thank the fuck out of me for. So I'm going to thank the plant, Now, Cunt Charles has been renowned for talking to plants. Now, that's the only good thing about that twat. The only good thing. Because that's one thing that he's correct about. Again, it goes back to the water consciousness thing. Plants are more water than we are. So if you treat and talk to plants with respect and show them love, you will get a better bounty. You will. As stupid as it sounds, you might think I'm a bit of a tard, but hey, give it a go. See what you think. Keep an open mind. Yeah, Northern Monk Brewery, even S'more Death. Tesco sell it. Oh, you know what? You made it sound really amazing. And it's like, you got to travel to this really, really remote village, right? And then, even then, you've got to knock on the right doors with the right knock, right? All in sequence to be able to get to the person that brews this particular stout. And you ended it with, you can get it from Tesco's. But I will look out for it, David, and thank you for the heads up, mate, because I would like to try that, because it sounds lovely. It really does. Santa Claus coming the chimney is symbolic of claustrum. Again, please pay attention to this and look it up. Just set aside half an hour of your time and look into this, and it will make everything make a lot more sense, you know? Over the centuries, information's had to be hidden in text, in gobbledygook, in some cases, in order for that information to be passed down, so that we can use it. People like you, right? So everything's been made to look, you know, to sent down in like parables and fairy tales and nursery rhymes and the Bible. You know, there's so much information in the Bible that is so good for us, but it's just not meant to be taken literal. And that's one of the things that I've had an issue with about the Bible, is that it's just so open to interpretation. And too many people have misinterpreted it. But I do think there is a lot of information in the Bible that can help. And I'm not a Christian. I never have been. I never will be. I've never stated that I was or am or will be or anything like that. I'm not, and I never will be. I'll never be religious. But there is definitely something in the Bible that's continued down the line. But it's kind of hidden away, and it needs to be deciphered, and it is being deciphered. And what Lana's saying there is part of that deciphering, in my opinion. Just saying. I've missed your. Let me see if I can go up to your comment there, Ruth. Or it's letting me go up this time. They play with words to Santa, same letters as Satan. Oh my God! I fucking never thought about that until now. I know there was the Saturn connection. That's definitely a thing. But Santa and Satan, never ever thought about it. And then when you think about it, Ruth, and you think about he knows when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. You better be good. That's fucking sinister, that is. Just saying. That's a bit sinister. So be good, for goodness sake. You know? Kids are interpreting this shit in their way. That's why I like that Scottish kid who's like, what are you wearing green and white for? This is the right colours of Santa. This is what we're wearing. Get out of my house, you cunt. She's on the nose. She's on the nose. She's spot on. I never thought about that, Ruth, until now. Yeah, you know. Ah, dear. Again, the importance of these live streams. I learned so much, you know, and then you're reading the same comments as I'm reading and in the chat, you know, so you're picking up on things and it's putting things into your head. Some of it might not be true, some of it will be true, but it still expands your mind. You can still go out of your way and do a little bit of research and find your own way. Find those answers because they're out there. I stopped celebrating Christmas in 1997. Bar humbug. Couldn't resist that, mate. Even though you're right. Now it's just something that happens around me. I like that, Michael. That's a really, really lovely, profound little comment there. It really is, because I think that applies to so many people now, that there'll be loads, thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, maybe even millions around the world now that are thinking like that. You know, they've just gone, things have just snapped into place. And I've always said it's such a shame that we need to wait for Christmas to come around for us to all get together. You know, it shouldn't be like that. Energy, frequency, vibration. Even in the beginning of the Bible, it says, "And the Word was made flesh." That is a word. Yeah, it is energy, frequency, and vibration. I've never read that bit. I've tried to read bits, you know, bits and bobs, because I don't want to. I don't want to commit too much of my life or too much of my time into reading the Bible, when in actual fact, maybe I need to read a bit more, because there are so many hidden messages that are going to definitely benefit mankind in the Bible, whether you're a Christian or not. Like I said, I'm not a Christian. I'm not religious in any way. I am a spiritual man. But I think spiritualism means that you've got a very, very open mind. I think that's the basic premise of it, if you were to try and put it into basic words, you know? And I think there's a lot in there that's been passed down and passed down and passed down. So I do have a few Bibles in this house that I do kind of have a little bit of flick through, you know, but not very often, because you can find a lot of the stuff online past certain passages. And there are some sections of the Bible right now that describe the world that we're living in right now, and what's happening to us and what's happening to the world right now, almost to a T. Like, bizarrely accurate. Revelation 17 and 18 is a head fuck, because you're thinking this has been in the Bible for, I don't know. It's been edited and fucked about with by kings and men of power so many times. So it's very difficult to know what was there originally, you know. But Revelation 17 and 18 are very, 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 very interesting. I believe there are many truths hidden in the religious texts, but not meant to be taken literally. Exactly. But we live in a world full of people that just take things literally. They don't. What they need to do is maintain a critical mind and just look at a text and think, right, that's profound. And if they feel that text, that particular section of the Bible or whatever, is so profound, they need to try and look at it from as many angles as possible, right? That way you can have a massive perspective on that. And somewhere in there, somewhere between there and there, is the truth. Because it's fascinatingly accurate about so many things. Again, I'm not a Christian. I'm not religious in any way. So this is not some sort of just some fucking YouTuber stealth attempt to try and turn people into a fucking Christian. because I'd never do that. You make your own mind up. You're free. But I'm just saying there is definitely something in it. It's been passed down. It's been passed down from generation to generation to generation times 100. There's information in there that can help us, but it's been misinterpreted by, you know, it is being currently misinterpreted by millions and millions and millions of people, hundreds of millions of people. Because they're shallow and shut off and blinkered, you know, and sat there waiting to be saved, you know. If Jesus exists or existed, and you know, it's quite possible that this man existed. In fact, it's quite likely that he existed, right? Do you think he would want weakling fuckwits, right, sat there waiting for him to come and save him? If I was Jesus, I wouldn't want that. I would want people to stand in their own power of truth and righteousness and fight back. That's what I would want. And then, if there is a second coming, which is, again, it's proverbial, you know, is the second coming of Christ you growing a fucking pair? I think it's highly likely that it's the latter. If you put yourself in the shoes of Jesus, grow a pair, stand in your own truth, and fucking fight back against tyranny and evil. That is the second coming of Christ. But who knows? You know, I'm not a Christian scholar by any measure. I've just skimmed across the surface, you know. But I think a lot of Christian scholars are Christians, so they're locked up into it. They're all twisted up into the Christianity religion system, you know. So the strongest element of Christianity is Catholicism. And the Catholic Church has been involved with Nazis, the Italian mafia. Oh, fucking hell. Look into it. The list goes on and on and on and on. Yeah, very virtuous. Very, very, very virtuous. The Pope is a cunt. An evil, twisted cunt. Catholicism is a disgusting abolition. Not abolition. I don't know what the word is. I don't think there is a fucking word. So if you're a Catholic, have a word with yourself. Yeah, Michael, I only put a tree up for hubby. I think it, do you know what, Ruth? I didn't put a tree up for the first 3 Christmases without Sal because she was very Christmassy, very Christmassy. She set me up in the loft. She'd know where everything was because she told me where to put everything. She remembered it all. She'd set me up in the loft, bring everything down. She'd know if there was one box. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of fucking boxes. She'd know if there was one that was missing. And she'd tell me to go back and look for it. And I would. Then when I've got everything down, she'd send me around to the shop to buy a bottle of sherry every year for nearly 20 years. And this is the first Christmas I've put a Christmas tree up without her. So I get where you're coming from. I think it's still, it doesn't necessarily need to be part of the system, part of Christianity, part of an ideology, part of a manipulation, or part of anything. It can just be down to just something that you think looks pretty, you know, just something that's symbolic of Christmas Day and what Christmas means to you as an individual. So don't worry about stuff like that, sweetheart. You know, I've got a Christmas tree in the front room, and I'm glad that I brought that down out of the loft and got some lights on it and some Christmas presents underneath it. I am. And it also means it's a milestone for me, you know, and me moving forward. So it's not a bad thing, Ruth. You know, don't see a Christmas tree as a bad thing. With lights, I don't even decorate it. He can if he wants to, though. Oh, it's so lovely. He's lovely, he is, you know. It was nice to put a face to the name and the voice, Ruth, for the first time in that little video that you sent me. And I'd love to meet him. I'd love to meet him one day, because he's my cup of tea. You can tell he's a smart man, and you can tell that he's a thinker and a passionate man, you know, but probably for the most part manages to suppress a lot of that passion until he's triggered, you know. That's just the what I can, yeah. Anyway, is that Mandy in? I think I've gone down too far. Is that milk, Terry? Yeah, it's milk, Mandy. It's just milk. I'm being a good boy tonight. I know you. I know you're looking at it thinking, Terry, that fucking milk looks off. I know. It's rabbit milk. It's from a rabbit. There's a lot of rabbits down the road there. That's why it's a little bit off colour, not quite white. It's rabbit milk. I was down there all day. Arms are aching. Oh my God. If you search for the you're talking in Scottish again. If you search for the start of Christianity, it was about speaking truths. The truth. Simple as the allegories or double meanings come from the facts. It's dangerous to speak the truth, as we know, or exactly. It's all been hidden in text. It's been passed down from generation to generation to generation in parables, in the Bible, in nursery rhymes, in fairy tales, and all of that. It's been passed down because you could have been called a heretic, and you could have been hung, drawn, and quarter, or hung, or slaughtered, stabbed up, and killed. You know, by high up representatives of Christianity. So people wanted to pass this wisdom down, but try and get it through as secretly as possible. So I do believe that there is a lot in the Bible, even though I'm not a Christian, that we could take a lot from and learn a hell of a lot from, as long as we learn to interpret it correctly, you know. Hard to find though, because it's been scrubbed. Not entirely though, David. Nothing's been scrubbed entirely. Nothing. The truth is out there. I'm telling you. I mean, let me just give you one example of them trying to scrub the truth. right? Even though we know the Epstein files is just another distraction, because that's what it is. Oh, Epstein files. Whilst over there, they're pushing shit through. Epstein files. Oh, new Epstein files. Whilst over there, they're pushing more and more shit through. And you're not seeing it because you're distracted. What people have learned, have figured out ways to get behind all of these redactions, you know? But then that's even more and more distraction, which rhymes with redaction, ironically. Oh man. But the truth is out there. They can't destroy all of it. It's impossible. It's impossible. People have buried stuff, put stuff under the floorboards, all manner of stuff from generation to generation to generation, passed over and passed over and passed over. You know, I'm telling you, the truth can't be completely destroyed. The truth always rises to the top. Always. It's just sometimes it takes a lot of pain, a lot of violence, a lot of stress, a lot of anguish, a lot of pain to get to that point and find those sources of truth. And then you've got to trust your gut to figure out what's the truth and what isn't. Your gut doesn't let you down. Your gut is truthful. Your gut is honest. Your gut can't be programmed. It's never been programmed. I think the patent number was, what was that for? Oh, fuck me and Lorna. You're gonna have to send that on to me. Yeah, if everyone had Christ consciousness activate in a Christos, then that's paradise, as here would be a much better place. Yeah, especially if it was as infectious as religion can be, because, and it should be, and it could be, and it will be, and it can be, because it's the truth. The truth has its own resonance, and you feel it. You would know if I've lied to you, if I've told you an untruth, which I have done, right? But it's an untruth that I felt was the truth at the time. It's not happened very often. And when I've on the fairly rare occasion that I fucked up and got something wrong, you've pointed it out to me and I've put my hands up. I've gone, I didn't research that enough, and I've apologized, right? But you'll know that I'm telling you the truth. You'll know that I'm sincere because you'll feel it, because the truth resonates. You'll feel it. When someone's telling you the truth on the telly, you'll feel it. You'll know that it's the truth. When you read something or you watch a YouTube channel or something on X or whatever, if it's the truth, you'll feel it. You'll know it's the truth. Your gut will tell it's the truth. Your gut will tell you. It's not been programmed. You can't trust your brain. From your first day at school, in fact, before school, because your parents were programmed. You know, we're on a daily basis, we're fighting programming. We're relinquishing ourselves from programming whilst watching everyone else maintain their programming, which is so fucking frustrating. That's lovely to hear you did that, Terry, after 3 years. It's memories. It is. And you see, I don't know how the whole afterlife thing works. So I don't know if she's kind of looking down at me and smiling, seeing me putting a tree up or not. I don't know. It gives me a little bit of comfort, you know. But I did say to Sal, oh no, I can't. World Martial Authority. Carl, that's very interesting. I'm not sure if I put a post out or not about that, but I did send a message to Lana about that. So I know what you're saying, Carl. I don't recognize your username, so I think you're new. If they can pull this off, and Carl, there's no need to shout. When I see big all caps, I see shouting. People will still read your comment, and I'll still read your comment. I will. You don't need to put anything in all caps. Bring it down and vibe with us. And welcome to us. Isn't that supposed to be under the coronation chair, David? There's nothing under mine. I've lost the context of that. The fake one with sewer stone. That long-standing took Iron. I've lost that one completely. The stone of scone. I tried baking scones once, and they did turn out like stones. Like, My teeth were in the scone. Or is it scone? I'm a scone. Is it scone? I've always said scone. I've always said scone until now. Who the fuck are you, Carl? You put a spell on me. You've gone from making me a scone guy. See? I was a scone guy, and now I'm a scone guy. What the fuck? You're twisting me up, brother. A fake king on a fake stone. Again. Anointed one. Sacred secretion. Oh, you dirty bitch. And sorry, I didn't mean to bring that down. You know, sorry. You know what I'm like, Lana. And Golgotha. I'd like a name like that. It's better than Terry. You know, Terry. What's your name? Terry. What's your name? Golgotha. Ooh, you sound important. Place of the skull, the heavens, the head. Exactly. Yeah, I agree with that. Raising the sacred secretion up the spine, 33 vertebrae. That number 33. It's fucking everywhere. Once you start seeing it, you can't unsee it. It's everywhere. You know, it's their little calling card. So they know about all of this. The 33 degrees, the 33 vertebrae, you know, the 33 this, the 33 that. It's mind-blowing. Fires DMT, yellow substance, and serotonin, white substance, land of milk and honey, to the pineal gland, and awaken dormant areas of the brain, enlightenment. Now, I don't know if anyone has looked in the post section of the channel. I did put a list of different plants, roots, and fungi that you can eat to decalcify your pineal gland. And I went on a deep dive on every single one of them, and they all do that, some more than others. But there was only 5 out of the 15. I think there was 15. There's only 5 that I recognised. I'd never recognised any of these other plants or fungus or roots or anything like that ever before. But I have now, and I've written them all down. I've made notes of them. But I've pulled out all the stops now. Good girl. I've pulled out all the stops now to make sure that my pineal gland is as decalcified as possibly possible, you know. And I've never thought with so much clarity. My mind's never felt so expanded, you know. And even as expanded as my mind feels, and as Lana's mind feels, it feels in David's and Lana's and everyone else's feels, it can still be expanded and then expanded and then expanded. And that's why I'm saying that the human mind is such a waste when it's watching EastEnders and Coronation Street. It's such a waste, you know. I'm not trying to hammer down on people that watch that shit, but it is shit. It's mind numbing, and it's designed that way. The spear of destiny. I like that, Mandy. Fucking hell. You made me twitch down there with that. Just with that. I'm sorry, just being honest. Little twitch, just one little, like that. You didn't make that noise. You didn't make that noise. But it's a very beautiful and very short description. I love it. I love it. Spear of destiny. It's got a lovely ring to it and it means something, you know. Long shanks. Oh, David's got to go and fuck it all up by going down the same route that I went down. So I can't blame him because I did the same fucking thing. Me with my spear of destiny, and then him going long shank, you know. But this is British humour, toilet humour, you know. Good humour. Santos Bonacci. Oh, you fucker. I like it when you talk foreign, Carl. You fucker. I didn't think I was gay until now. Jacob's Ladder. Yes, Jacob's Ladder. See, Carl is a very, very nice addition. Another nice addition to our little tribe. Because I like the way he talks. I like the way he thinks. You know, he's got an open mind. I fucking love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so important. Oh, man. My niece is obsessed with number 67. Well, be glad that it's not 69. It's all around her school. What's that about? I've got no idea, Mandy. None. No idea whatsoever. But I'm sure there's some sort of significance, you know? I'm sure there is. Nine. You see, nine's a powerful number, word. Because it represents an angry fucking German saying no. When raised back up, stays dormant 3 days in the brain in the cave. Yeah, the second coming before the pioneer resurrect. Yeah. See, I knew where you were going with that, you know? See, we've got so much potential. So much potential that's just wasted every fucking day. Wasted with EastEnders and Coronation Street. It's a shame. It's a fucking shame. And I shouldn't let it get to me because it's not my problem. But it is my problem because we're a collective. I think the real stone had a high metal content, and Jacob laying on it amplified his pineal, etc. Why the visions he had and being, you see, it all makes sense, you know. When you start looking at the Bible again, you know, there's so much sense in there, but you need to change your perspective on it. Just twist your perception on it, or look at it from a multiple of angles so you can get the truth, because the truth's in there somewhere. You know, I can take a Bible basher, right, and I can fucking tear them apart with words, just with words, tie them up and fucking leave them to think about it. And I've done it so many times, and I'll continue to do it, because sometimes going in hard and fast and a bit rough and a bit tough, not intentionally to leave them stressed and, you know, demoralized, and that, not like that, but to hit them hard enough to make them think. Sometimes when you've got someone that's hysterical, a fucking slap across the face brings them out of that. You're doing them a favor, but on rare occasions, very rare occasions. I've given examples of that in the past. I don't go around slapping people. I don't do that. But you can do that verbally. And I've had it myself in an email from some random fucking stranger, abusive. But after I got over, do you want to meet up? You want to say that to my fucking face? Once I got over that, which is my instant go-to that I'm trying to get over, he actually did me a favor. He did. He set me on another path. Anyway, I need to learn more about the vagus nerve. I had to endure Corrie at relatives recently. Oh my God. I know. But Mandy, you did it, and you did it for the right reasons. Just to, you went along to get along, which is a big challenge for all of us. All of us. Hello, Maria, sweetheart. You all right, darling? Good of you to have joined us, and Merry Christmas. Are we still in Christmas? Yeah. Got 40 minutes to go before Christmas is done and dusted, and we're into Boxing Day, and we'll draw it down to a nice mellow close at midnight. I was so determined to max it out at 2 hours, but when flow is flow, don't ruin flow. Flow is important because it's organic. Organic's important. Happy day to all you lovely people here. So lovely, Maria. Thank you. The mind's like a parachute. It won't work if it's closed. Synchronicities. You know, earlier on in the live stream, I was just saying that like attracts like, and I've used that analogy so many times. So it's lovely for someone, you know, new to come in and recite the same analogy. It's so lovely. It really is, because it's the truth, and the truth is all that matters. I don't watch TV. Watch stuff on YouTube, Rumble, etc. But that gives you the power. Then you see, if you watch the BBC or any of the mainstream bollocks, mind-numbing shit, right? That's them pumping your eyes and your brain and your ears full of propaganda and bollocks, right? You watch Rumble, YouTube, X / the future WeChat, but is useful for now. You get the choice. You pick what your flavor is and what's vibrating with you in your mind, in your being, your consciousness, you know. I know that sounds a bit woo-woo, a bit hippie, you know. I'm not hippie, but there is something in it. You're connecting with truth. You're searching for the truth, and you'll know when you find it. So if you find a channel that vibes with you, because the truth, the resonance of truth is so profound and impactful. You know it's the truth. So you'll follow that channel then, until you think, that's a load of bollocks, fuck them off. Or give them a chance. No one's perfect, you know? But don't follow any of these AI channels. If they're fake, by putting a fake fucking persona on the screen with fake words that they've typed in the parameters of, to send into an AI machine to splurt out whatever it wants it to say with fake graphics, right? What else is fake? Fuck that off. Anything that's AI, fuck it off. You want to be looking at real people talking about real things from the heart. Nothing else is good enough. Your comments are being blocked. That's very unusual for a live stream. But you know it's not me, David. Very unusual. And they're quite random as well, you know. But again, when you're over the truth, you get more flack. You know, the more real you are, the more flack you'll get. But don't let that knock you off. Keep going, no matter what. Because it's people like you that count. It's people like you that are gonna, as a collective of people like you, will turn the tides of history forever for the better. But it's not going to be easy. But it's doable. Yeah, it is weird. That's why they're called programs. It's you, they're programming. Exactly, yeah. But you try telling your next door neighbour that, Carl. They won't get it. But that shouldn't stop you from telling your neighbour that, because you know, most, pretty much everyone that's listening now has heard this before. You know, it all goes in. What you see and what you hear, however irrelevant it might seem at the time, still goes in. Your brain is an information sponge. So even those that watch EastEnders and Coronation Street, they're still taking in information. It's still going in there. It's still going in. I guarantee it. 100% it's going in there. So if you turn around to them and say, did you know blah, 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 blah. Even if you get that fluoride stare, right, it's still gone in. So there's a chance that in a year's time, something might snap in their head or click into place and they wake up. So someone that you've deemed as an absolute write-off might not be a write-off. This is the difficulty we've got, is that we can't write anyone off. Not really. Because we don't know the write-offs. Because all of that information, all of those seeds planted, It's all information. And all of a sudden it's like bang, 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 bang. Oh my God. Carl next door, when he said that to me, it makes sense now. You know? So never give up. Never give up. Never stop planting seeds. But it's always got to be the truth. It's got to be the truth. If you're trying to wake someone up and you tell them just one untruth, then that's your integrity shot to pieces. If you've said 1,000 things that were absolutely fucking on the nail, they all pale into insignificance because of that one thing that you got wrong. So make sure you know your shit. I'm just going for a slash. See, I only just recently realised or understood what dogma is. I used to think dogma was the mum of a dog. That was a joke. You see, I'm multi-talented. I can tell very, very, very vague jokes whilst having a piss at the same time. Like I said, women don't hold the monopoly of being able to multitask. You know, I can do that shit too. Oh dear. The light's fading. It's not plugged in, it's not charging. But it just does go to show that on a full charge, as a prepping lamp, I've got 3 hours and probably 3.5 hours out of that lamp on a full charge. So that's not bad. So in a grid down situation, the spot's on. And last Christmas, was it the one with, it was either last Christmas or the one before, all the presents I bought for all the family were rechargeable lamps. And this year, they've all got, I hope none of them are watching this, I've got them all a battery bank, all fully charged, you know, ready for prepping. So I'm trying to kind of just gently nudge, but you can't push someone into a place they don't want to be or they don't feel comfortable. There's a lot of people out there that need to just experience extreme hardship before they wake up. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Made short documentary on my channel about the stone and where it is. David, can you email that to me? I'd really appreciate that because I'd like to look at that if you don't mind. Think about what's above the stone and the connections, Lana. Yeah, there's a lot. There's so many things I could start. There's so many lines of conversation I could go down now about ley lines and why certain buildings are built on certain places, in certain places. And these secret societies, again, a lot of people think are just la, you know, bullshit. And they're not. There's definitely a connection there. Whether I fully understand it all, you know, to the letter or not is another question. But the fact that I'm aware of it is a start. I'll give that a watch tomorrow, and yep, Terry can pass on your email, and happy to chat about it. Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to do that with any of you guys. If you want me to be a conduit between you two, between two of you guys, you know, connecting with each other, no problem. You know, no problem ever. Isn't the stone in Scotland? I'm unaware. That's why I'm asking David to send me some more info. Yeah, we'll have a giggle at my accent. Sound worse than T-Lo. Oh, I doubt that very much, David, but I'm very, very fucking curious. You've really piqued my interest now, because I can imagine it being pretty fucking strong. If you end up typing the way that you speak, which is what you do at the start, then I can imagine it's a very broad accent, very broad. You know, I might need some subtitles, you know. Considering you're only like probably 3.5 hours away from me, yet, you know, you might as well be speaking in Chinese. But I love that. I love that about our nation. I love that. We've got so much beautiful diversity within our own nation. We don't need these fucking cockroaches coming in and fucking it all up and turning it into a third world shithole. We don't need that. We don't. So we're gonna have to get rid of it, and that's going to take some effort. We've got a beautiful, beautiful united group of nations. I'm not going to say kingdom because I don't like king. You know, we've got a cunt that calls himself a king when he's not actually our king. You know, the Windsors, they changed their name to the Windsors in 1917 because they had a German name, because they were of German heritage. And because we were at war with the Germans at that time, they changed their name to Windsors. They're not actually the natural progression of a royal family, of a monarchy, a natural progression of a monarchy into this into the UK. They're not the righteous people on the throne. We shouldn't have a monarchy anyway. I get how some people would say, you know, actually I'm a monarchist. It took me a while to kind of get my head around the mentality of that. I get it. I do understand, right? But I'm an anarchist. I'll always be an anarchist. Always. That's never going to change. It courses through my veins. But the actual King of England, true King of England, is just a normal bloke like me who lives in Australia. It's been traced back. Everything's fake. Everything. Can't fake ones in Edinburgh, real ones elsewhere. Yeah. Again, more. Thank you for putting my email address in there, Michael. Much appreciated. That's my email address if anyone wants to get in contact with me, and I will get back to you. I promise you, I will. It is in Warehouse 13. I like that, Maria. Nice little touch. All energy. Yes, it is. Everything is. Everything. I was brought up in Bradford. Oh, fucking hell. You wouldn't recognise it now, David. You wouldn't recognise it. It's been completely taken over. In fact, you've got a 50-50 chance of going up to a white person in Bradford and finding out that they're either English or Eastern European that still can't speak any English. So, and that's if you're lucky enough to find a white person. Bradistan. This is why I say everyone needs to get fit. Everyone needs to get healthy. And everyone needs to learn some form of self-defense. Self-defense is also defense and offense. They've got gyms under all of these mosques. They're all being trained to fight. I've seen so many videos. None of them are AI, all real. And some of these kicks, you see, I've trained in martial arts. These kicks aren't normal kicks. These are martial arts kicks. So they're training their youth to fight, to get ready for war against their host country. They gave them a fucking chance. Otherwise, they'd be living in shanty towns in shitholes. They are literally biting the fucking hands that feed them. So we need to bite back. And again, you know, there are people that have said less than this, had knocks on the door, and then getting nicked. I'm inviting you, cunts. I'm inviting you. Come. You'll have an interesting fucking day. Bradford, told you, thinking part Scots as my family are. I type the way my mind thinks. I love it though, David. I love it. Don't stop typing like that just for me. You know, I love it. I love it. Again, I've got a passion about our nations, our combined nations. England, Ireland, Scotland, Wales. I love them. I love them. We're all the same. We're all together. We're all different, but we're all together. You know? And lots of attempts have been made to break us up. You know, you've got the Troubles in Ireland orchestrated, right? The Welsh Independence Party trying to break away from England. Cunts, right? The Scottish Independent Party trying to break away from England. Cunts. You know? Division, 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 division. That's their intention. And as long as we know that, we can fight against it. Awareness is everything. Knowledge is everything, as long as you put it into power, as long as you put it into action. And Radford, I know. I mean, what a fucking mental connection is that? You know, I don't know anyone from Radford, apart from my own family. It's crazy, crazy. But you wouldn't recognise Radford anymore either, David. Hey up, Dave. I don't know why I have a little cheeky little grin when you turn up. I don't know why. Good to see you, brother. Merry Christmas. At a time when we're about to shut down as well, you know. Good evening, all. The Bradford, Lord help me. I don't doubt would have made it out. Radford told you, top of Alfreton Road. Yeah, you see, I was at the bottom of Alfreton Road. You know, so we lived at opposite ends of the same fucking road. And there's another lady. Again, oh man, You know, it's a right head fuck. There's another lady called Jenny who lives in Ireland, and she went out with another guy in Ireland, and his uncle lived in Clifton, on South Church Drive. Now, I never told her that. She just told me about her connection with Nottingham. I lived on South Church Drive. So what are the odds of that? The only time she's ever been to Nottingham in her entire life was South Church Drive, where I lived. And now my dad lives in the same house. What are the odds? There's just so many synchronicities. It's just bizarre. There's something in it. There's got to be something in it. Because when you start putting these things down to statistics, chances in whatever amount of millions or whatever, they're off the charts. There's a lot to this world and a lot to life that we don't fully comprehend, or we try to comprehend, but we just, there's a lot. There's a lot. There's a bit too much. Or is there such a thing as too much? Bear with me. Storm's growling to go out. I don't want to miss any of the comments. It won't go up. Oh, it will. Hold on. Bear with me. When things become far too bizarre to be a coincidence, then you've got to just maybe consider stepping up a little bit in regards to how you think. Do we? I'm doing a fucking live stream here. Come on, man. Good girl. Come on then, darling. Go on, lie down. Good girl. Oh man, that grapevine that I found, just parked my car up, found a grapevine that someone had just discarded. Whoa, it looked dead, right? I can't pick the laptop up and go show you, but it's taken over my kitchen. And I keep having to move it around because grapevines are very aggressive plants. They get these little coil things and they start wrapping around stuff. So they can anchor themselves and then grow a bit more, and then anchor themselves and grow a bit more. And it's trying to look around for stuff to anchor. It's like a fucking triffid. So, and I've got all winter. I'm overwintering this bastard. So I have to keep moving it around. It's getting so big and out of control. You know, people think, oh, I wish I was green fingered. No. You need to be a plant murdering bastard. Otherwise, they'll take over your home. Oh dear. Don't be a plant murdering bastard. Divide and conquer. Exactly. And it's in the art of war. And it's very efficient and very effective. It's always worked. And they know that. But if we can kind of, again, plant those seeds of truth into people's heads, through their eyes, through their ears, then they'll fail. They will, because it's what's the saying? Fool me once. Something on me. Fool me twice. I can't remember it, right? But if you get fooled with the same trick twice, you're a bit of a cunt. You're a bit of a twat, aren't you? You know, you're quite low down, right low down on the scale, on the food chain, really. You're a bit of a moron. If you keep getting fooled over and over and over again, unless you've got a learning disability, which I work with people with learning disabilities for, nearly 17 years of my life. So I would never bring them in, people with learning disabilities, into this conversation. I'm talking about people that have not got a learning disability, people that consider themselves to be normal, upstanding citizens of the world, falling for the same trick over and over and over. They are useless eaters. I'm sorry, but they are. So I know that's a swear word because the WEF use it, and the people that want to wipe out the general overall population of the planet, by 80%. I'm not one of them. But we need people that are going to be purposeful and useful in the fight moving forward to fight back. So I'm sorry, but there are useless fucking eaters in this world. Cunts. There are vulnerable people that we need to take care of. And then there are non-vulnerable people that we need to fuck off. Take that how you want it. Because I stand by it. You get to a point where you run out of patience for people, We're past all that fucking shit. But yeah, again, oh dear. It's brilliant. We all made it on tonight. Perfect end to a day. It is, yeah, it is. Look, I to anyone that joined us a little bit later on, I did have a chance to go and spend Christmas with family, but there were complications within my own home where I needed to stay home. So I've spent Christmas today on my own, but whether I went there or not, I would have still come back, and I would have done a live stream. Yeah, because I know that there would have been people that would have been on their own, and it's a day where I think it does. It's a day where I think it would affect more people than normal if they're on their own. So it's nice to just kind of interact, whether it's, even though it's not interpersonal, which is ideal, it's the next best thing. It is. So we've all made a difference to each other, and I'm glad that I did this live stream. I am. Yeah, it is crazy, David. Yeah, it's a mad set of crazy fucking coincidences that I would never have anticipated. There is a meme I love with a king and his staff member on a balcony. Lana, would you be able to understand that doesn't make any sense to me? But I don't want to embarrass you either, but it doesn't make any sense to me. There is a meme I love with a king and his staff member on a balcony. I don't know what that was connected to, so I do apologise. I genuinely do. So if it's worth elaborating on, elaborate. There we go. Oh my God. David Williams, are you Mossad? Hey, have you been looking into all of my history and my? Are you a Mossad fucking agent or what? Because there are far too many coincidences. It's mad. Because yeah, bizarre. Terry, show that video you sent me. Do you know what, Lana? I know where you're coming from when you put that comment in the chat there. Balance. I don't know how if it's gonna show up in the. I don't know if it's going to show up because of the light. I think I was quite selective about who I shared that with. Which one was it again? Right, yeah, okay. Right, so let me get into you. Pardon the expression, Lana. Oh, I fucking love that. Please go into the post section, guys, and have a bit of a look and a little bit of a smile, you know? Bear with me. Lana, it's not there. I can't find it. Oh man, I don't like fucking around with my phone whilst I'm doing a live stream, and I do apologise. I can't find it, Lana. I can't find it. Yeah, I sent it to you. Or was that it? I tell you what, it'll be easier for me to tell you, right? So it looked like a genuine bit of footage of Christmas where Uncle Knobhead, right? Everyone's got an Uncle Knobhead, right? And basically, his Uncle Knobhead has passed this present over to this little boy who's about 5 years old, 6 years old, right? There you go, you know. And the dad's come along, right? Strolled in. He's took the book off the little kid who's looking at this. He's unwrapped it and looked at this book, and the kid's all like, "Fuck's this?" You know, that kind of look on his face, like that's fuck's this, right? So the dad comes along and takes the book off the kid, looks at it, and he's got it on film because he's going around filming the whole Christmas event, and it's Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler, right? And he goes over to Uncle Knobhead, and he goes, and he more or less says, "Fuck's this?" He says, "It's what he asked for." He says, "No. Minecraft, not Mein Kampf." So relax. Yeah, it was fucking hilarious. Oh dear. Anyway, we're gonna bring it down and draw it to an end, and hopefully we might get another. Imagine giving a book like that to a child, you know. It's like, even if you're an uncle, even if you're Uncle Knobhead, and I think I am maybe some sort of Uncle Knobhead. I think I might be because I do twist it. I do twist shit up at parties, you know, as I'm sure you do, you know, unintentionally. It's just like, why don't you open your mind a little bit? Let me tell you about this. Walking away, leaving them in mental fucking degradation when all you've done is just tell them the truth. That's all. And backed it up with evidence. Well, this is the world we live in right now. But yeah, imagine giving a book like that to a kid. It's just, even like Uncle fucking retard would think, Mein Kampf for a 5-year-old? That must be a mistake. Right, John? Yeah. You know when you said your kid wanted Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler, yeah? Oh, all right, yeah. I thought so. Fuck me, mate. yeah. All right, yeah. I'll see you on Christmas Day. All right, cheers. Bye. Done. You know, this is the level of retardation in this fucking world that we're having to deal with. People that have got absolutely no common sense whatsoever. We are living in a world where we've got a common sense drought. But I wouldn't mind an audio version because I don't read. It's not because I'm thick. It's because I don't read. I won't mind an audio version of Mein Kampf just to have a listen. Because I think that whole thing, you know, the whole World War One and the whole World War Two thing has been very, very misinterpreted. Extremely so. But again, it's like we're living in a world. We are living in a world where if that wasn't taught to me in school, so it can't be true. Whereas they were actually being completely and totally indoctrinated. You know, they were manipulated and molded into what the I don't like the word elite. I don't like that at all. Linford Christie was an elite sprinter, right? Bolted. You know, there are elite athletes that are unbeatable. That's elite. There are people that have got minds that are incredible. That would just that they see so much and understand so much. That have changed the laws of physics as we know it, and science turned science on its head and all sorts of stuff. They're elites to me. They're elites. If you've got trillions or multi-billions of pounds in the bank, you're not an elite. You're a cunt. That's all you are. You're a fucking cockroach that needs to be squished. And you will be squished. You know, you have your little bunkers and stuff. You only have so much protection and so much ammo and so many guards. You know, that can't last for long. There's always a back door. There's always a way in. You'll never get away from us. We'll find you and we'll fucking kill you. We will. And on that note, oh man, If people continuously do damage to you, you can't keep taking it. You can't keep taking those licks. Like me when I was a 14-year-old boy who got bullied and bullied and bullied. There came a point where I didn't take it anymore. I never got bullied anymore. I bullied the bullies, you know, and to some degree, I've never stopped doing that. So that's what needs to happen. And as small and as inferior as some people might feel like they are at the moment, you're not. You're not. You're part of something very, very big. Have faith in yourself. Never give up. Always fight back. Oh, is that Mandy gone to bed? Oh, I'm sorry, Mandy. If I missed you, sweetheart, good night. God bless and sleep well. And yeah. Thank you for stopping by. Crow House recent walk and talk was quite enlightening about World War I and World War II. I've not heard of it. I've not heard of Crow House. Crow House. It's an easy one to remember. I will be looking into that channel as soon as we close down. I will do, because I love stuff like that. I do. People need to be aware of the reality and the truth, not what the people in power have then kind of put out to the shallow-minded masses, because it's not good for us. It's not. You know, we need to criticize and we need to criticize everything that these people say. And if we'd done that, say, but it doesn't matter, you know. Again, I don't work on the should I, would I, could I. It's all past tense. It's done. It's dusted. We can't live in the past. The past is there for reference only. That's all. To learn from. Never to make those same mistakes again. That's it. That's it. We know that these people have not got our best interests at heart. They don't give a fuck about us, you know. But we give a fuck about us. We do. And that's going to shine through. But it's got to be organic. All of this has to be organic. No Tommy Tards. None of that. It's got to be organic. Not, can we, is it okay if we do a march on Saturday the 21st of blah, blah, blah? That's not organic. Organic is when it erupts. Naturally. It erupts. That's organic. That's the only way forward. Pretty much most of it. Yeah, you can't trust history. So I loved history at school, but I was very, very pissed off when I realised that wasn't true. That wasn't true. That wasn't true. That wasn't true. But so many people out there take things on face value, and these people are a fucking liability. It doesn't mean they're not going to wake up further down the line, but people that think like that now are a fucking liability. So keep them at arm's length. Never stop searching for the truth. Always be on a quest for it, because enlightenment will serve you well further down the line. You see, knowledge is power. It really is. It really is. But it's only power if you act on it. And so many people, it's like, oh, right, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. And that's it, you know, they move on to the next episode of EastEnders. I'll keep using that as an analogy because it's the truth. Congratulations, Terry, and all of us for 1 year. Oh, what a lovely way of ending this, Michael. That's so beautiful. I really appreciate that, Michael. Thank you, man. Yeah, that's so lovely. That's so fucking lovely, man. Oh, man. Oh. Right. Let's bring this to a beautiful, beautiful, positive ending. And just thank you to all of you for just sharing your time with me. I know that I say that a lot, but it's always sincere. It's always real. I always mean it. I mean it because you mean it, you know? So just thank you for sharing your time with me because it means a lot. It doesn't just mean a lot to me. It means a lot to everyone else that's in the chat, you know, because we're all in the same boat. We all are. We've all got to get each other's back. We've got to make sure that we've all got each other's back. We all understand each other, and we do. I think we do for the most part. I really do. And we're growing. We are growing. We are. Believe me, we are. So rest well, you know, get some good kip, you know, have a fucking lie-in. Try and have a lie-in in the morning, you know, it's Boxing Day. You don't need to get up. Lay in bed, even if you're awake, stay under the quilt, you know. And I'll see you in the next live stream. Much love to all of you, and I mean that. Proper love. And I'll see you on the flip side. Ciao for now.